Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome wherever you are to Movie Watch Live. And a welcome back for the show. It's been a while since we were last on air, and in that time, I believe we've been racking up the views. And that's quite an achievement since we haven't actually done a show in a bit. I think we've gone over 1 million views, over 3,000 subscribers, well, on our way to 3,500 now. So thank you, a big thank you to all the contributors to the show, all of my guest stars here and co-hosts, all of the fans, viewers of the show, and all the subscribers. Thank you very much indeed. And
Yeah,
tonight
and
I'm joined by the Ralph of Khan and Khan Potts and Flash. um, to join. Uh, to enjoy, probably, in my own opinion anyway, probably the finest Star Trek movie ever made. I mean, definitely the finest Star Trek movie of the original cast, and many would argue the finest Star Trek movie of the entire genre. But some might argue that point, but I'm certainly a believer that this is the best one that they ever did, and it just gets everything right. Exactly. The reason for doing the show tonight, we were going to try and do it last weekend to mark the 40th anniversary of the movie. Well, we were going to do it last year because, of course, William Shatner hit 90 last year, didn't he? And this year he got into. Was it earlier this year he got into space, or was it last year? I can't remember now. Yeah. So
He
there's been
became
plenty of
Captain Kirk.
this, yeah, for a brief moment. There's been plenty of occasions where we've had the excuse to watch this movie, and then, of course, with it hitting the 40th anniversary, we couldn't ignore that any longer. And I suppose we're still okay because, as Flash pointed out before the show, the UK release wasn't until some time yet after this, so we're sort of in between both release dates at this point. So
yeah,
we're in the
straddling it.
yeah, what is it?
Gray
The
area.
yeah, between the Romulan Empire and the Federation.
Oh, yeah, we're stuck right in the neutral zone. That's it.
Exactly, stuck in the neutral zone. We need to record a song with that title.
There you
Maybe
go.
we could use it for Time Mullet. Yeah, so it's probably a good idea. So, so thanks again, everybody, and welcome to the show. And if you like movie commentaries, if you like reaction shows, then welcome to this show. We don't actually have a copy of the movie we can play on YouTube, unfortunately, because Susan would get very annoyed with us, so it's not possible. But there are plenty of places to go and watch the show if you want to watch the movie. You want to do that, and of course, if you want to watch along with us, of course, that's the reason that we're here tonight to talk about the show. And so, if you want to hear our boomerish ramblings, then continue to listen in and join in. We will give you timestamps throughout, and we'll talk about the movie and what's happening, and give our own opinion. So, joining me tonight, first of all, we have the Ralph of Khan, and I'm already admiring Ralph's pecs. I think
Oh,
you
I
look
think
quite ripped there.
I
His
appreciate
man
that. You should be paying the most attention to this glorious mullet on my head.
I mean, the mullet just leads me down to the pecs, basically.
You can pull off bangs really well.
Yeah. He's
Uh,
enjoying. Let's get the full effect. Hang on.
yeah,
Uh,
I finally perfected the comb over, so now I'm set. There
there
we
you go.
go.
That's the
Who,
original. But
who knew? Who knew Mr.
that's
Rourke would
how.
go
That's
so dark?
Yeah. Well, his hairpiece is
So
made of
tactical.
fine Corinthian leather.
Tactical.
Let them eat static.
Admiral Stubing. Admiral.
Let them choke on.
Love boat.
What's the hairspray, Ralph? Everybody used to use.
Oh, Aquanet. Yeah, dude. With this hair,
Aquanet.
yes, with this
That's
hairstyle
all
alone, I've
Starfleet
made
gave
my
him
own.
on Regula 6 was for SETI Alpha 5 was just
Yeah,
payloads of Aquanet.
That's
that
why
was
there was
it.
no ozone layer.
Yeah,
It was
the
completely
Aquanet went nova and
Yes.
killed the planet. So you're enjoying the augmented life there, and the glasses are just for show, aren't they? Really? 'Cause you've got very
Oh,
good
dude. Yeah. When I go in the metaverse, I'm going this way. Absolutely.
eyesight. Well, I'm loving it. This movie, in my own opinion, I think it's the best of all of the Star Trek movies. Certainly the best of all of the original cast Star Trek movies. What's your own opinion of that, Ralph? And do you remember when you first saw the movie? Can you think
Oh,
back?
Oh gosh, I don't even remember what I ate for breakfast. But yes, I've definitely seen this movie. This is definitely the best Star Wars movie that there is.
Yeah, I'll be editing both of those out later on. Don't worry.
No, this is absolutely hands down the best Star Wars movie. Now I did it again. Thank you.
Yeah.
You broke my brain. Star Trek.
You see, I did it deliberately.
Yes.
I did
Made
it
it.
deliberately.
Yeah, made it.
It was
Joke
it was
once
meant to be
and
a
the
joke,
boomers
but now I've
take
put like a
off.
seed in your mind.
Yes. Now I'll be
Luke.
looking for Darth Vader and I'll be completely confused.
Luke, I'm your father.
Duke
Duke.
Skywalker.
Duke, look at my pecs.
Where's your
All you
brother
could have played.
Jake? I hear he comes along in episode 6 or 7.
Well, here we go. I mean, this is the closest we're going to get to time mullet because what he says, mullet and fringe combo. So that is the best.
Once we get that GoFundMe up, Time Mullet's going to happen. I'm there.
Definitely. So in the chat tonight, we have Kevin Riggs. Evening, Kevin. Estimating 1 minute and accept. I do apologize, Kevin. Take whatever schedule we have, throw it out the window and forget about it altogether because I'm absolutely terrible at timekeeping, so apologies about that.
It's the whole time zone thing.
I'm not even going to deny that. And then he also says, no need to charge in. Cosmetti also says, how dare you? Obviously, she's practicing for the role of Greta Thunberg there. So next on our list, in no order of importance, Con Potts. Con Potts, have you seen this movie before? Yes, of course you have. And
Yeah.
what do you think about this movie? Do you think it's the finest of all the Star Trek movies?
It is probably one of the best. And there was an interesting thing that I saw about the director of this.
Mm-hmm.
The way he got Shatner to do so well is he basically let Shatner be Shatner, and made him keep repeating his lines until Shatner got bored of being Shatner and listened to the director.
No, good.
Perfect.
That is a true story. I heard that somewhere. So, and that's one of the reasons why it is probably, I think, one of the, not only is it one of the best Star Treks,
right, isn't it? Yeah.
It's probably one of the best Shatner movies out there.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely, without a shadow of any doubt. And this is something that I firmly believe is one of the best movies ever, not just a science fiction movie, because it's purely about the two characters throughout the entire movie. And funny thing is that I think we'll mention this later on in the movie, of course, but neither of these two adversaries meet each other in person throughout the entire movie.
Yep.
So incredible that they're able to do it. I'm William Shatner. So you won't see scenes like this.
Oh no!
So there's unfortunately no fight between the two.
Poor Ricardo felt violated after that one.
Yeah.
Next tonight we have the artist who is Captain Kirk's personal portrait artist, and his name is Flash, who joins us tonight as the G.I. Joe version of Captain Kirk. Yes. Good evening, Captain Migo. And you've obviously seen this movie many times before, Flash. And what's your own opinion about the movie? How does it fit into the whole genre of not just sci-fi but also cinema?
It's like the best movie of 1982.
I would agree. Absolutely. I mean, there's so many amazing movies in 1982, but honest to goodness, this is probably at least one of the finest.
I was just making a list just in June, like just this type of movie. You had Khan, E.T., Tron, Blade Runner, Road Warrior, The Thing, Dark Crystal, Conan, Grease 2, of course. For some reason that didn't do too well. I don't know. People have no taste.
Yeah. It's such a hard year to compete with all those other movies because they're all incredible films. So to do well in 1982, for a movie to do well in 82 even, it had to be, the best. And
Well, 82 is the year of movies that were rescued by VHS and cable.
Yeah, because
You
that was
had
about the time it was coming out.
and
Wasn't it? Yeah.
E.T. and Wrath of Khan were big hits. Everything else was a flop. Like Tron came out, flopped. Everything flopped, but then everything found a second life through cable and
Through VHS, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I remember seeing Tron actually for the first time on VHS. So, because Matty said this is the best Star Trek movie, absolutely. So there you go.
Okay,
Definitely.
so a big question here on a scale of 1 to 5 dilithium crystals. What would you rate this film then, Cosmetti? Come on now. We got
And actually, now I'm trying to find my red stapler at this point.
You gave me a fish scotch, and I don't like fish scotch. It's a string line.
Oh, it's
I like my
speaking of
string line.
scotch.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't like this scotch.
I also sell water on the Book of Boba Fett. I sell water.
Oh, gotta get the Josh going.
Yes, no, that's serious. My mouth is dry. I need to go and get it. I haven't even had a chance to get a couple of beers, so I'll
my
do that in
God.
just a minute. Yeah, I'm sitting here. Beer. There's plenty in the fridge, but you know.
Oh,
but
dude, yeah, can't do
yes.
this sober.
So yeah, big year for movies, 1982, and for this movie to do well is an achievement in itself compared to all the other movies that were coming out in that year. So very quickly, in regards to the cast, they don't really need much of an introduction. Obviously, we all know the main stars. Obviously, William Shatner as Kirk, the dearly departed Leonard Nimoy as Spock, DeForest Kelley as McCoy, James Doohan as Scotty, and obviously Walter Koenig as Chekhov, George Takei as Sulu, Nichelle Nichols as Uhura. We also have Bibi Besh as Carol, and Merritt Buttrick as David, Captain Kirk's son. Also Paul Winfield as Tyrell, Kirstie Alley as Savick. She only played Savick once, didn't she? And she didn't want to be typecast. I think it was played by 3 different actresses altogether, wasn't it? Because the character
believe
went
you're
all the way
correct.
through. Yeah.
The last one,
Robin Curtis was number 2.
Yeah.
Was it Kim Cattrall, the last one? Or was
I
that
think
a
so.
different-
Yeah. She
They
did really
changed
well.
her
Actually.
name because fans didn't want Savick to be a traitor, so they changed her
Yeah,
name
exactly.
to something
So
else.
she wasn't actually Savick, but of course she was really Savick.
Yeah, she totally was Savick.
But if fans couldn't accept the fact that a character they'd like to become traitorous and the Vulcan version of the deep state.
Yep.
A Vulcan traitor. Ricardo Montalban, obviously, as Khan. I remember him more for Fantasy Island. The plane, boss, the plane.
And Corinthian leather.
Yes. Oh, yes.
The Chrysler New Yorker.
Yes. And there are a selection of other characters there. I do like the fact that there is a Lieutenant Beach, I believe, in this movie. Captain Tyrell turns to him for a report on the sandy planet. And, what's going on with this sandy planet, Lieutenant Beach? Well, there's no chance of any surfing today, so...
And we got to have Ensign Skippy that goes down with the away team. So
yeah, definitely. So
But his costume wasn't red.
Yeah, with the target on the front. Why is my shirt got a
Everybody's
target?
a red shirt in the movies.
Yeah.
Although the security guys that are normally cannon fodder now wear like 1920s football helmets.
Yes.
Probably the most ridiculous looking costume that's left over from the motion picture.
Yeah, there was some strange costumes. I think they got it right. This is the first movie where they sort of made it more believable. The costumes they made more sense, more based on what uniforms would work in real life.
Yeah, and I remember when Star Trek the movie came out. The change in costumes was pretty shocking for those of us that had watched the original
and the creator.
Yeah. So that was another thing that was a plus for me was when Star Trek 2 came out. Not only was the movie better, the costumes were decidedly better, in my opinion.
And the mullets were far better.
They had left like the early 70s look of that movie.
Yeah, there was a lot of like 60s, 70s, 2001 Space Odyssey, but they were
very much like Logan's Run.
Yeah.
Yes, very much. Yeah.
Renew.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no.
Because Matty says Savek stayed on Vulcan because of the Pon farr with Spock. Well, there you go. That's where she stays. She
You know what?
Yes.
Here's what I
Oh,
want to see. I want to see a cage match
I'm doing
between
a bit of Pon
Mike
farr here at the minute.
Yeah, I want
Ooh,
to see a cage match between Mike Staklasa from Red Letter Media and
yeah.
Kusmeti to see who comes out to see the bigger Trekker. So
Yes. Well, Pon farr is I don't know. Is it a bit
that's like
sort of Freudian? Is it Freudian? Would you say? I don't want to think about it that way.
I
It's
always
every
thought
7 years is what it is.
yeah, I always thought of it as a Vulcan bar mitzvah. So that's how I reckon it.
It's when the Vulcans have to swim upstream to be rejected by their fiancés.
No, that's the Vulcan
man. Terrible. So Vulcan women lay thousands of eggs in the riverbed.
Pointy-eared little egg.
I'll have scotch all over my screen if you keep that up.
Oh dear me. So anyway, just once a year, the wild
Green, you are my mate. I have chosen another Spock.
Sorry.
How do you like killing your best friend only to be rejected, Spock?
Well, that's the thing. They comment on it later in the movies, don't they? Because I think Savek asks him, what's it like? Oh no, it's the journey home, isn't it? Where I think is it Dr. McCoy asks him what it's like to be dead, or how what it would feel like, and he gives him some sort of weird answer like, "You'd have to die to know what it's really like," something like that. So,
that's the perfect answer.
What is this? I'm a Trekkie, not a Trekker. I'm too old to be a Trekker. I don't know the difference between Trekkies and Trekkers.
It's I don't know. It's a geek slap fight. Some
Trekkies are fans. Trekkers are pretentious fans.
Ooh,
and Trekkies are older.
Right.
Pardon me, I'm a Trekker.
I'm a kind of sure of Trek, if you know what I'm saying.
I have never known the love of a woman.
Is that what is that big orange ball in the sky? It's the sun.
I did the whole annotated Klingon language compendium back in 2023.
Here's a fun fact: more people speak Klingon than Welsh.
They're kind of the same, aren't they?
I'm just going to stay silent on that.
You do need to have the same amount of phlegm in the back of your throat.
The Welsh speak Elvish, anyways, right? And the elves have all left the planet.
Yeah, except the Tolkien's version of Elvish Welsh, they've left out all the phlegm.
Should I tell my one Welsh joke?
Go on then.
All right, so a guy's at a bar, and in come two ladies, and they're speaking Welsh. Yep. The guy at the bar is an American like me, so he's stupid. He goes, "Hey, so you two, what are you two Scottish ladies doing?" And one of them looks at the others and goes, "Wales." He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. What are you two whales doing over here?"
Terrible. Wah, wah, wah. Right, and on that note, so anybody who's still watching at this point, this is a commentary channel, and we don't have a copy of the movie. However, I say that I don't have a copy of the movie, but I think I do actually. If you bear with me a moment, let's see if I can find something. Here we go. So anybody who wants to watch a copy of the movie, here it is in 20 seconds. Please enjoy.
Spoilers! Spoilers!
And here we are. Blah, 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 blah. Look away now if you don't want spoilers. Blah,
you may have to pause a couple of times throughout this, but that's okay.
They go. I think you just got bitch slapped off Kirstie Alley there, and there's Genesis, and then Metal Meat Static, and hello there. Welcome.
Man. That's it. You're demonetized now.
Yeah, there we go. And we're down at the planet, and there we go. And gone. And
this is so illogical.
And then big explosion. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Milton quotes. Remember.
In all of my travels, he's the most
live long and prosper.
And
human.
You're my dad.
And then that's it. And then we're back to the start again. Go by
Download complete.
That's it. So, and thank you very much. And I hope
All right,
you
that's
enjoyed
it. Y'all have a great
That's it.
evening. We'll
Good
talk to you
night,
later.
everybody. Thanks for joining. So there you go. And that's the closest we can get to Show the Movie. So obviously we have our own copies, and you can join in by watching it home, or if you want to sync with us, we'll give you timestamps throughout. And if you don't have your own copy, just want to listen to us waffle on, then go ahead.
And it is important to point out we are watching the director's cut. The only difference is there is a 3-minute difference. So if we start talking about something that doesn't make sense, you're watching the wrong copy. Pause for 3 minutes, and you'll catch right up with it.
I think I worked out where the 3 minutes are. I think it's just an extra bit when they go down to the moon and they see that, the bits and pieces that have been created down there. There's a little bit extra in there, and I think there's a little bit extra at the start when he's talking.
I thought we weren't doing the director's cut.
Yeah, it's when they mention Scotty's
don't
nephew,
worry about it.
The kid from Witch Mountain.
That's it. There's literally just 3 minutes difference, Jeff. It won't make any difference, really, seriously.
Okay.
And then just hit the pause button or fast forward.
They added it back in because narratively it made no sense that he shows up on the bridge holding the body of that random kid.
Yeah,
but what they cut out is that random kid. It's his nephew. So
hey, Ralph, where did you get that child's body? Oh, it was out at Trailer 7. Don't worry. Happens all the time.
That's a kid from Witch Mountain? Sweet.
So, I think that's everything. So basically, we'll just get into the show now and get everything started. We've got our own copies, so if you've got your own copy at home, you can join in. And if you've got anything you want to say in the chat, go ahead. And any comments are useful, and we always listen to everything everybody says to us. It's not like we ignore the comments.
Well, Pete does.
Spoiler warning, though, in viewer warning, Boba Fett's in the next movie, not this one.
Yeah, not this.
Dude, you just ruined it.
Disney's going to do a reboot of this movie where Khan isn't actually in it.
Just a fat bald dude roaming around the desert.
Yeah, well, that's it. They're not going to.
Anybody got any beer?
The Book of Boba Fett.
Book of bland shit.
Bobby?
Mama.
Propane accessories.
Book of blobby fat. So anyway, so let's get into it. We have plenty to talk about. And,
Star Wars is the only universe where you gain weight by not eating food.
Well, it's the only universe where instead of when you have like a stomach worm right inside you lose weight. Well,
there you gain weight.
Basically, Boba Fett decided to turn that on its ass, and he became the stomach worm inside the stomach worm. So he basically put on weight. So the poor old, giant space worm probably.
Well, Han Solo gained about 10 pounds from being frozen for a year or two. So
yeah, I know what's up with that. That's strange, isn't it? I mean, maybe he was eating loads of frozen turkey legs while he was.
No, the carbonite was actually chocolate.
Oh yeah, they turned him into a chocolate bar. That is true.
It's a giant heart.
Well, I think the clue was in the title, carbonite.
Also, it infuses you with carbs, and that sustains you. Okay.
This is it.
Slap a Willy Wonka wrapper on it and ship it.
Oh, jeez. Chewbacca pulls back the label. It's got a golden ticket.
Solo diddlyumptious.
Oh man, there you go. So that's how they gained weight, ladies and gentlemen. Be frozen on your ass for 2 years and trapped in carbs, and you
gain 10 pounds. Amazing.
Yep. Put on those pounds. So I've got this fantastic little video here, which is like a countdown video, and we'll use that to time ourselves in, so that we can get started on our copies of the movie.
I'm starting at the Paramount logo.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do that as well. I'm going to try to start my movie. It'll probably go wrong, but we'll do it anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready, I won't say make it so because that was Picard. Was it Let's See What's Out There? That was Kirk used to say sometimes. I'm not sure. But
I'm pretty sure it was Boogity Boogity Boogity.
Okay,
Kirk's
let's do it that way.
Pedal to the metal, cousin.
Well,
let's get that boss hog.
He's
no, I'm sorry. It was Romano.
So before we get started here, I want everybody to do their best Kirk impersonation.
I
Let's
refuse
get
to do
started.
Kirk. I'm going TJ Hooker. Romano,
They're all
Close
the
enough.
same.
Close enough.
how did you afford a Porsche and a cop's salary?
Yes.
You have been saved up for years.
Scotty, my girdle is binding me. Here, get bones.
Fun fact, TJ Hooker connection. I think it was either this or Star Trek 3 where they had to bribe Shatner to be in the movie.
Uh-huh.
By Nimoy doing a guest stint on TJ Hooker.
Oh my gosh.
All right, listen, I'll do an episode of TJ Hooker, but you got to do the movie for us.
Think about the name.
I will never get. Yeah, I'll never get past TJ Hooker for the fact that they filmed him like standing on the back of a truck, pumping his arms for all the running scenes. Oh yeah.
That was why I watched TJ Hooker.
Oh, that man ran a lot. I was like, dang. The only reason he's not 300 pounds is he's playing TJ Hooker.
Man, if those girdle straps broke, the whole set would have been wiped out.
I know you're thinking this doesn't look like a standard issue of police officer's gun because it's not. It's a 357 Magnum. It'll blow a hole in you, huge hole in you. So think about kidnapping that child.
Yeah.
That's my favorite episode of TJ Hooker.
Did he fire 5 shots or 6? I guess we'll never know.
You think you're smart taking my daughter hostage. You're wrong. This is a 357.
Right, let's get on with it, gentlemen.
Yeah, otherwise we're never going to get through the movie.
We're never going to get started otherwise. And we need to rescue the scientific team near the Genesis secret lab. So then
3, 2, 1.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. My VHS is playing. Paramount logo, a Gulf Western company.
Yes.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Oh gosh, I forgot to rewind the Betamax.
No. Why is my image green at the top and wavy at the bottom?
Well, I left it out in the back of the Buick. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I accidentally put in "Battle Beyond the Stars."
Oh,
wait, no, it's just the same music. Sorry.
Yeah, just great.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I think it's a decent score by James Horner, but
it's great. I mean, but yeah, this is his first crossover into the mainstream, right?
Yeah,
because he did all that Roger Corman stuff, and they're like, that guy's a really good song composer. Let's put him in a big movie.
Well, did he
come work for a real movie company?
Yeah. Now, did he do the Roger Corman stuff, or did he just give the Roger Corman stuff? Roger Corman all the stuff he had left over. That's the big.
No, he did like Battle Beyond the Stars and a couple other things, and
he did Willow as well, didn't he?
Sound bigger than they were. And
yeah, okay.
He did Willow, didn't he?
Yeah, he did do Willow.
Yeah.
It's like the one thing that John Williams didn't do for George Lucas, right?
Well, I had to give John a break.
He's a struggling artist.
The deal was if I did 7 movies in a row with John, he got to act in the next one, so I had to take a break.
I keep telling him that you're too tall to play Willow, John.
There's Merritt Buttcrack on screen there, who plays
who everyone may remember from the classic TV show Square Pegs.
Yes.
Ooh, there you go.
Ricardo Montalban.
Ricardo. You must roll your R's there, Pete.
This is the Montalban. Not only his accent kept him sort of out of a lot of movies and leading man roles, but also because he refused to cuss.
Yeah. You know what? A guy that's all kidding aside, a guy his age that was in the shape that he was in when this was filmed.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man.
Well, they're his real pecs, though.
Yeah.
Really?
He was a bodybuilder from day one.
There was no CGI then. Cosmetti, we are at 2 minutes and 35 seconds. We are just coming up on screenplay by ending, produced by Robert Sallin.
I love the way it blends in as well directly into the. It's a fantastic meld straight into the bridge of the Enterprise.
Did Nicholas Meyer direct or just write Time After Time? The Jack the Ripper.
I'm not sure actually. Yeah.
I know he wrote it. I don't know if he directed it or not.
Special effects for this movie are really good for the time. They really spent loads. Yeah, they spent loads on getting the animation right.
And this is the first one where ILM did the special effects for it.
Yeah, because you compare that to how Disney did Tron. I mean, Tron was just all blinking track and trace, wasn't it? It was basically just what's it called again? Where you did it for the same thing for the Lord of the Rings animated movie. Where you just film it.
And the rotoscope.
Rotoscope. Yeah.
So, in Tron, they were literally making it up as they went along.
Yeah.
Like, this is a movie we could make 20 years from now. So let's try it now.
And the other thing is I like the aesthetic of the set because you can still see all of the influence of the original, but you can see the changing technology as it moved along.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of thought went into this.
A lot of thought. I mean, I think every single thing about this movie, there's thought in it.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of the original reboot because that's kind of why it takes place is like just reintroducing the characters because it's like the first movie kind of missed the mark. Let's redo that.
Yeah, they were really conscious that they were too ostentatious with the first one, weren't they? And that they went over the top with it.
Ooh, Sulu gets slapped down.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Oh
damn!
I can't believe I'm 65 and I'm still just a helmsman. Asian man just can't rank in this Starfleet, I swear.
Emotions are tough around here.
Flash has practiced that, that's polished that. Oh man!
One day I'll be my own captain and have Christian Slater as a cabin boy.
One day social media will be invented, and I will bitch slap William on it all the time.
When I get my own ship, it'll be filled with twinks. None of these icky women. Yeah.
So,
and Sulu gets slapped down again.
He does.
Shut up, Mr. Sulu.
I didn't think Vulcans could swear anyway.
Oh, she says a damn, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But she is from Kansas, though, isn't she? Originally.
Well, she's half Romulan.
Yeah. Is she?
Yes.
Is that why? I never knew that about the character. There you go.
Which they would have revealed in Star Trek 6, but, they changed
it. We had some comments here. That's Con Elong. Oh, elongated, right? Okay, because it says, I'm a wee bit ahead. Timestamp, please. Yes, indeed. Yeah. I'm a wee bit behind, actually, Cosmetti. So this is where everything goes wrong, abandoned ship, and then...
Best entrance ever. The Ric Flair entrance here.
Yeah.
Check out that smoke.
Oh, yeah.
I'm an admiral.
Hello. I am making a sexy entry.
Well, that's a nice Texan.
Came out wrong. That came out really wrong. So,
I've penetrated the bridge.
Yes. I was watching you through your television set. Not in a pervy way, though.
Yeah, it's a little early for that, but
I'm going down to engineering.
Oh man, tell you. So that would have got everybody's attention when they first went to see the movie. Oh no, they've just killed all of the cast off.
Well, they did that on purpose because there was all the rumors about Spock dying, so they put this scene in just as a red herring.
Yes, of course.
And so when people went to see it, they would freak out in the theater when he dies in the first 2 minutes.
Oh, and we did, yeah.
I saw it when I was little, and I remember people like screaming. I was in one of those louder movie theaters, as people call them.
I'm so glad Spock didn't die in this movie, though.
I was in an ethnic inner city theater, and the screams and cries were terrible when Spock hit the floor.
Dude.
Yeah, back in the day where people actually they knew how. See, this is the day when they knew how to engage an audience. They had these characters and beloved characters who people had, watched for 30 years on TV, and obviously the motion picture had been out a few years before, but they did it right. They thought, these are beloved characters. Let's make a really good story and do it right. And to me, this movie is, you know how they did Master and Commander with, well, many years later, obviously based upon the Napoleonic Wars, but the whole idea of that was two men who were in their own ship and never saw each other, and it was a naval battle over many miles. So in this movie, they're getting right back to the heart of Star Trek, which is naval battles in space. Because you remember in the original series where they talked about they'd never seen a Romulan before?
Yeah.
And it was all that the Romulan War was conducted where the two species never even saw each other. And the Romulan ships were compared to like submarines. And anyway, so
this movie was all like, this movie was inspired by Horatio Hornblower. That was one of the.
Well, there you go. See, I didn't know that either. Knocking him out the park tonight. I think we're going to have to nominate. A trivia award of the night.
Yeah, Flash gets big brain of the episode.
So far, Flash is way in the lead, like with all of the observations, because that makes perfect sense.
I'm making dad jokes and butt stuff.
Captain Kirk's beautiful temp layer.
These are the glasses, aren't they? That he gets. It's a Romulan ale as well.
Bordello.
You're allergic to Retinox 5, Jim.
I love the costumes, though.
You're not a bartender.
That's an actual line.
I tell you. But do you like sort of like Bones' like assless chaps trousers there?
Bones going sexy.
Oh yeah.
I just would like to point out all chaps are indeed assless. So
yes.
Bones McCoy, I invented the skinny jean.
Flash would always.
Why they call me Bones, but you can see everything.
Damn it, Jim, take me.
Well, I am called Bones, so.
Bow chicka wow, Jim.
Good night, children. So, on the wall is obviously Kirk's collection of pistols over
His
the
Second
years.
Amendment wall. Yeah.
Yep.
Shall not be infringed.
Old 2A Kirk, as they used to call him.
But we're assuming the future is Democrat, aren't we? Because there's all of this fine, noble idealism that in practice doesn't really work.
Well, they are furniture. They are all muskets. I will point that out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it usually doesn't have like a magnum on there.
They're assault muskets.
Yeah, they're
they
AK
have
muskets. Musket 15s.
They hold more than one cartridge.
Yeah. And but yeah, I like the costumes in this because there's a bit of a transition going on between the 70s look and but then what became more of the 1980s, and obviously they used this this kind of atmosphere as inspiration for a lot of other 1980s.
Take a look at that. Take a look at the computer in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm going to bring up too. I'm sorry, McCoy's jacket does have some members-only feel going on there. So
and it's got a lot of quilting, which was a staple of sci-fi movies in the 80s.
Yeah.
Because that makes it look like clothing. Just got a quilt.
Exactly, it looks like clothing. You know?
And shoulder pads.
You've got to have loose-fitting clothing because
through the whole series of these movies.
You've got to have loose-fitting
except for the motion picture where he shows up with his disco medallion and his Grizzly Adams beard.
Well, basically, if I was Bones, I'd be saying something like, "I've got to have loose-fitting clothing. I've been through the transporter that many times. I don't know where my ass is anymore." So
here's the accidental model that they actually, by mistakenly, built upside down.
And it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, because the engines were supposed to be on the upper side of the saucer, but
it gave them the inspiration as well by happy accident again for all these different other designs. And it's now there you go, Lieutenant Beach. Anything going on down there? Well, Yeah, man, this trip's dope, man.
Like I think I think I like spot a marijuana garden down there or something.
Lieutenant
Yeah.
Spicoli.
Yeah. So
Oh,
we're
God.
currently
He's
developing
ordering
a
pizza.
sand planet. That hasn't been done before.
Yeah, right. Back to that other.
Oh, there's a flaw
Franchise.
behind Chekhov's head. There's
Yeah.
schematics of the secondary hull of the Enterprise.
Yeah, I noticed it doesn't bear any
And the
resemblance to
Miranda
the
class
ship.
ship doesn't have that secondary hull.
And there's a
Ooh.
Romulan ship there as well on the side. Because they must be near the neutral zone, I think. I'm not sure, but incredible technology in the future, by the way.
Oh, there they are. The prop, the lights between the things that's in every science fiction TV show and movie.
You've got to have flashy lights. It's not real unless you have
The
flashy
tube, the
lights.
light tubes that's in everything.
Yeah, and you need a Jacob's ladder somewhere too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one yet.
Well, that's what those light tubes are. They were like the 70s equivalent of the Jacob's ladder.
There you go. Yeah.
And they use them to this day and stuff too, which is great.
This is Bibi Besh, who plays Carol, who was in the original series, wasn't she? I'm
I don't
sure she
think
was.
so.
Was she not?
I would have remembered someone if they had that square.
Oh, I think she's quite pretty.
Yes, she is.
She was
She's
in
the prettiest
Tremors as
Lego
well,
lady
actually.
ever.
She was in Tremors. Didn't realize
What?
that.
That was
She
her?
was in Tremors. Yeah, she was in Tremors. Yeah, she
Was she
played.
the,
Hang on, I'll see who she
was
was
she
in
the
Tremors.
grandma of the girl from Jurassic Park?
Hang on, I'm finding out for you.
Hey, look, it's Los Angeles 10 years
She was
from now.
Megan, the Doctor's wife, in Tremors. Can't
She's
remember
either
who
the lady
was.
that gets eaten at the beginning or she's the grandmother of the girl from
Doctor's
Jurassic
wife.
Park.
Yeah. So this
Okay.
is City Alpha 6, they think.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's LA 10 years from now.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
very much so.
LA now. No,
Yeah.
no, I'll tell you what it is. It's election year downtown. Nothing to
These
see
guys are
here.
gonna- These
Mostly
guys are going to go
peaceful.
get the mail-in ballots.
I'm looking
Mostly-
for the drop box. It's around here somewhere. Check it
Mostly
out.
peaceful post-apocalyptic sandstorms. Oh,
Also known or this could just be West Texas. Either way, that works.
true. Well, there
Look,
is
it's the
a
Hilton.
trailer park coming up, so
Well, if there's a trailer park, there should be a tornado around there too.
so this is supposed to be a lifeless planet. But hang on a minute, there's a
What,
trailer.
oh,
What timestamp
A
you
lifeless
guys on?
planet? There's white trash here.
Timestamp. I'm at 15 minutes 44 seconds.
Okay.
same here.
So just discovered the spaceship / storage container /
Also
trailer
known
park.
as Trailer 13. This is the
Yeah.
one with the view of the drive-in movie theater.
Is that, you see that nose cone on the side there? Is that
That
like,
shows up a lot through the movie. Yeah.
yeah? I just wondered if that was a reference to something in another.
It's one of
film
M.
or
Night
film.
Shyamalan's tells.
Ah, right.
He was
Now,
a ghost the whole time.
This is this is like a reference to like the Mary Celeste in a way, isn't it? Because it's like,
Mhm.
is there somebody actually still living here? And obviously the suspense is being built up all the time because they don't know if there's anybody still in here or not.
Ooh, tank full of critters.
And this is it. And you see the books on the shelf,
Ooh.
though, all the classic books,
Mhm,
Moby
Moby
Dick and
Dick.
everything.
And he quotes all of those books throughout the movie too.
He does. Paradise Lost,
Yeah.
Moby Dick.
We need to find nuclear vessel.
Well, Paradise Lost was how the original TV episode ends, where he
Right.
quotes Milton.
Yeah, exactly, because he's it's a and the thing there's a 2 or 3 themes in this movie which are so important. The fact that they wanted to believe that literature would not die in a post industrial a computer age, literature would not die. Oh, there's a bunch of people out there.
Lieutenant Doctor Strange.
So they wanted to show how books would still be a part of, and that really enriches the movie, that there's constant literary quotes and that people are reading the books. But there's also a theme of youth as well, and obviously transience of youth, because Khan is super aged and doesn't age really at all, and when you see Kirk, he's now having to use glasses, so.
Well, see, that's kind of what all these new movies that want to resurrect half-dead actors miss, is they never comment on their age, which kind of should.
Yeah, exactly. Khan! There he is.
You like my bangs? I did them myself.
I made it with my own Flowbee.
But it's the way they introduce him as well, like that. So, do you know the whole idea of the baddie with the mask, obviously like Darth Vader, etc., and the power to take the mask off and reveal yourself? It's done so well, and the way that Chekhov can't even get the word out of his mouth. His throat is that tight with fear. Because of course,
good to be remembered.
They've got handy handles on the front of their spacesuits as well. They're like little coffee pots, aren't they? Really?
Yeah.
They're convenient for when a Superman wants to hoist you up over
exactly. His head. So we're going to do the scene where Khan lifts Chekhov up. How are we going to do it? I know. Let's design the suits so they're like big coffee jugs. It just has a handle on it. And he just lifts them up. Oh, that's great. There's no other reason for that to be there.
Yeah, the rejected take had Chekhov singing "I'm a Little Teapot," though. So.
Well, it kind of makes sense, because if you had them in a storage thing, they'd be easy to carry and move around.
It's the Manson family, 2123.
Very much so, yeah.
Well, I wonder if they did this movie authentically like this today, because I know they've already done a reboot, haven't they? And I won't even comment about that.
Yeah,
with, Cucumber, Benedict Cucumber, as I call him.
Jin Khan. Yeah, whatever.
And because, it's a very non-diverse cast of people there, isn't it? Khan himself's supposed to be Indian.
Yep.
So you would think they would be diverse, but back in the day,
it was much more diverse on the TV show, oddly enough.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Well, this is it.
Apparently, the planet bleaches your skin and hair. Maybe. He does say 50 of his people died. So. Yeah,
maybe they can't get enough. You can't get enough nutrients, so they've gone a bit pale. But yeah, this is where Khan realizes that they thought it was set Alpha 6 and had completely forgotten about him. We find out that 5, which used to be a relative paradise, as the sun went nova or increased in size and killed everything on the planet. So I don't know how they've been able to survive this long, unless they eat the worm things, which you're going to see in a minute.
Maybe they have food replicators.
Ooh. Oh, I don't know. Well, maybe he's invented one, because they didn't have one in the Star Wars. Sorry, Star Wars? Did it again? See what I did there? But they didn't have any on the ships at this time, did they?
They did, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
did they?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry, for basic stuff,
Yeah, like coffee and food cubes.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. So they didn't have the ones where you could literally have tea Earl Grey hot. Well, actually, no, they could have had tea Earl Grey hot, couldn't they?
Yeah, they just didn't have I want the next generation where it's I want a chocolate sundae with extra syrup and food.
Give me a heart attack burger, extra bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everybody would just be incredibly fat, wouldn't they? I mean, there's no way anyone would survive.
Oh, holodecks and food replicators, you would never leave your quarters. Come on.
Yeah, Star Trek would have become Wall-E before that was over.
People would be found dead. In holodecks with
Commander Riker would have died in his own filth on the holodeck by the first
I don't know how he died, but he was lying there and he had a really muscular right arm. It looked like he hadn't eaten for days. Good night, children. Anyway,
And up he goes.
there he goes. Chekhov, you are my little coffee pot.
I will drink from your skull. Tattoo.
I will percolate you.
Tattoo.
So timestamp, I'm up to almost 23 minutes now.
Yep.
Let me introduce you to the next
My little
generation
friend.
of what you'll be eating instead of hamburgers. Eat the bugs.
Eat the books. Eat the
Oh yeah,
books.
the worm killed 20 people. So yeah, they're diminished for sure.
Yeah, I know
He
which
had,
podcast.
he had a
I know
crew
which
of 70,
podcast
20
you
of them
listen to,
died.
Pete.
Yeah.
Eat the books.
I love the way they make a really horrible, freakish sound, but the little ones go.
Oh, it's
And
so
this is
cute.
sick. I remember watching this as a kid, thinking how sick, because it's like literally a little thing crawling up, and they can't do anything to stop it. And it goes in
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Well, and it's a nice way. They're building tension pretty well with
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's a great villain because he tells you exactly what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, I know.
And his delivery's perfect. He was perfect for this role.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. He actually said, bit of trivia for you, that he had problems getting back into the role because he'd obviously been Mr. Roark for so long
Mhm.
on Fantasy Island. And he was stuck in that character. He got typecast and obviously got stuck in the role of being, Mr. Roark. So he had to watch the original, because obviously this, as we all know, this movie is based upon the original episode from '67, Space Seed. Where they're all augmented people, like our Ralph here. Ralph, I hope you're not going to start a eugenics war anytime soon.
No, but I may start cracking walnuts between my pectoral muscles now.
I'd like to see that. But here we go, these horrible things. Oh, man, no. This is what you have to do to get into Congress now. You
Basically,
must
yeah.
have the mind worm in your
Well,
head.
that and sell your soul, one of the two.
At the
Yeah.
same time, yeah, same entry requirements required for CNN, MBC, ABC, etc., etc. But yeah, the original episode Space Seed in '67, you had to watch it over and over again to remember who he was, what his character was in that, to capture it again. Here's Kirk with his glasses
They had to
reading.
watch the actual 35mm prints because there was no tapes of it.
Oh,
Yeah, they'd
I
lost them all,
hadn't
hadn't they?
Mhm.
They did the
Well,
same
they
thing.
had to go to the studio and actually watch a print. Yeah.
And these effects are amazing. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
this is just a very highly detailed model, isn't it? So
Yeah,
no
it's beautiful.
CGI at this time, but they had Industrial Light and Magic. So the scene where the shuttle comes up to dock with the Enterprise was so well done for the day. I mean, this was groundbreaking for the day. These effects.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Makes you long for the days of fine script writing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that and just the way that they're doing the shuttle, you get a sense of the size of the Enterprise, which I never quite got throughout the the original run. But you start to get an idea. Oh, yeah, this is a big ship. It's not just a model that you see on TV.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, in the same way that the first motion picture was based upon an episode from the original series, the sequel obviously based on Space Seed. The producer Half Bennett went through all of every single episode looking for a candidate that they could make a sequel out of based upon an original episode, and the continuity here is excellent because it is completely based on the original story, where at the end of the original episode, Spock talks about what it would be like if we returned here later on, years to come, to see what the civilization is like, and indeed that's exactly what happens. Yeah, so it was probably one of the best sequels made based upon an original TV episode.
See, Mr. Scott isn't a real Scott because you can understand him.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's true.
And he looks younger than 120.
Yeah.
Well, his Mr. Doohan's Scottish accent is probably the typical accent that people do when they think they want to be Scottish, because they just go at the end of every word. Hello, I'm a real Scottish guy. I am. It's a bit like the Hollywood Cockney accent that Dick Van Dyke did.
Oh, there you
Hey,
go.
I'm a real Cockney guy.
Well.
I am. Core blimey.
Good day. Oh, sorry. Wrong one.
So,
that's not a knife.
Oh. Yeah, take it from my Australian friends. Drop a shrimp on the bobby somewhere. They'll cut you.
Yeah, I believe this is the added scene.
Yeah, this is it here where he talks to the nephew.
Mm-hmm.
He's so short, isn't he?
Well, he's the kid from Escape from Witch Mountain. He's an alien.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Were they aliens? Is that what it was?
I think so. He's got his iPhone in his arm there. Can you see his little iPhone pouch?
And his radar dish on his chest.
Yeah, he's got a target there just for ease.
Are you guys in the extended edition yet? Or extended part yet?
Yeah, we are. We just got that now where he's chatting away to the nephew.
Yeah, my sister's
younger. Stubberl.
Okay,
if you're a little bit ahead, Jeff, if you just hit pause for like 2 seconds.
Yep, they're on the bridge.
No, by that, if you hit pause for about 2 or 3 seconds, Jeff, at 29 minutes and 29 minutes and 40 seconds now. This is beautiful. This scene where you get all the lights lighting up. This beautiful.
Yeah,
it's just spaceship porn. This really.
Yeah, very much like that. That was another thing I liked that they picked up in the movies, was having the exterior lights.
Mm-hmm.
Because when he said earlier, I forgot about McCoy's trousers. Wow. Yes, indeed.
How could you?
Well, the lights that highlight all the panel work on the body of the Enterprise too. All the Aztecian, as the fans call it.
They hit the part about the tranquilizer.
Where are you at now, Jeff? What time stuff?
They're pulling out of space dock.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we're still in space dock at this point.
Okay, tell me when they're pulling out of space dock.
They just got to the bridge.
Offering the steering wheel to Saavik.
Saavik, what are you doing?
Women drivers, Jim.
Saavik, I don't believe I've met you before.
What's your sign, Saavik?
Are you wearing your hair different?
Tell me when you see the tell me when you see the NC 1701 in the middle of the screen.
I thought you were great in North and South. Don't you agree, Admiral?
Do you come here often, Saavik?
Would you like a tranquilizer? Oh. Oh. They're gonna scratch my baby. Yeah, the panel work on the body is so amazing.
And NCC 1701 is now in the middle.
Okay. Yep.
And the phaser ball through it. Woo!
Yeah. The level of detail. I don't know how big the model was, but the photography on it's brilliant.
11 feet.
It's seamless, isn't it? It's so well done.
It's 11 feet long.
Wow. That explains the detail then. That explains the detail then.
Mm-hmm. And little man waving at the ship.
But look at it. I mean, it looks more real, doesn't it? In a way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You can't get that look with CGI alone. Really can't. I mean, we've gone through like 20 years of
prep. Yeah.
I could build a Lego Enterprise.
Oh well, let's do it. Let's do Lego Enterprise with we'll call it Star Trek 9.
Damn it! I'm missing the one piece of the deflector shield.
I like the the warp chamber there, the central engine there, just the blue light they put in there, and then it changes as the ship turns around.
Oh, at the bottom. Those are 4 giant windows that look into the atrium.
So is that in the model itself with the blue light then?
Yeah, there are actually windows that look inside the ship. There's like a giant park.
Yeah.
It's the rec area.
One second. We need a timestamp. Cosmetti, if you're watching the director's cut, we are at 32 minutes, 50 seconds. They've just left space dock and they're about to warp out.
Yeah.
There's Regula 1. Is it? Or Regula?
Of course, you do know that there was a 10-year period in the Federation where they couldn't warp because the president of the Federation, Soklok Nibidin, bust the entire economy for the whole Federation. So it made dilithium crystals twice as expensive. So basically, nobody could warp for about 10 years.
I don't like this. Can we go to the Kelvin timeline instead? I don't like this one.
Don't worry, J.J. Abrams will retcon it all.
So, hello, this is Chekhov. I'm really not totally weird at all with my blank expression.
No, I am always like this.
So you know that the
Romulan Chekhov is actually a Ukrainian officer, not a Russian officer.
That's true.
So don't delete this video.
Yes, he's actually from Kiev.
No, it's called Kyiv. Thank you very much. Kyiv.
Oh yeah.
We changed the name.
Dude, I'm from the South. Add 5 or 6 more vowels to that.
Kyiv, y'all.
Kyiv, it's
That's pretty close.
That sounds like a cat, though.
Dude, yeah. Welcome to my life every day.
But yeah, the Romulan ale thing, is obviously a reference to Cuban cigars.
Mm-hmm.
So, Admiral James T. Kirk.
And synthahol is also a thing in this timeline as well. So
who would bother? I mean, who would bother? Does it get you drunk? No. What's the point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Honest to God, it's like, I don't know, renewable energy. Energy isn't renewable and isn't free. Anyway, enough of that.
No, all of my electric is made by diesel. It's made by coal. I mean, come on, it's free. It's a magic.
It's free. It's magic. It came from the wind. Yeah, it's a beautiful model, isn't
it? He's gonna hit on her.
Oh, no, well, of course.
We are now at 30. Right, he's just gone in the lift. Oh, here we go. This is the moment, gentlemen.
Your hair.
This is the moment. Yeah. That's going to be on the screen for a little bit now. There you go. Hello. Oh, yeah.
Nice lady.
Baby. Actually, I'm going to be totally honest. This is probably one of the first women I had a crush on as a kid. That's the reason I watched North and South, basically.
Oh, yeah.
I know she was a cuckoo in that, but yeah, it was like, hello.
Yeah, just watch. It's on YouTube for free. The episode of Match Game with her. It's great.
Yeah,
it's like Richard Dawson is like, "Hey, young lady."
Hello, like, lady.
F off.
Yeah, she was like, "Get your hand off my shoulder."
Mm-hmm. One step near me, I've got a taser, mister.
Fabulous
Irish jazz. 70-year-old actors just like, hey, yeah, look at her.
I think it's her eyes as well. She's got really fantastic eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And,
damn it, Jim! I don't do escalators.
Damn it, Jim! It smells like a baby's diaper in here. What have you been doing?
Well, Bones, you see, this has been a long elevator ride.
Goddamn pheromones! Okay, I'm sorry, Jim. I hang on, Bones.
Sorry.
Go ahead. You go first.
Damn it, Jim! I'm a doctor, not a porno star. You can't be trapped in an elevator with me.
Hey,
I gotta tell you, Jim, you're looking mighty good in those tight slacks.
Let's have a look. What have we got here?
I do have to say, Karl Urban did a good Bones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He did. Well, he does a good everything, I think.
Yeah, Karl Urban's good.
I'm Gutted, we still haven't had Dread 2 yet.
Hold on, this TV does remind me of my 1982 Magnavox 19-inch.
You just need to give it a bang on the side there.
Exactly.
Yeah, Kirk doesn't know that you have to hit the side of it to fix it.
Exactly.
He's got to go outside and adjust the rabbit ears.
Stop putting hot cups of coffee on the top.
Bones, bring me some aluminum foil. I've got to put it on the ears.
Did somebody spill Coca-Cola in this thing? There she is with flashy lights. Yeah, this
the whiny sound effects.
The whiny son syndrome thing here, but it's the idea of fathers and sons and youth and aging and life obviously being finite. Is that Chachi? No.
No, but nice
it's
try.
It's Chad Machio.
You take off. All right, so that's 5 points off of Pete's score. Then -10 for continually referring to Star Wars.
It's the Star Trek Joni Loves Chachi crossover.
Oh no!
Spock's Infinite Mirror. It's like my favorite set piece. Like Spock shops at a Hot Topic. Or was it Spencer Gifts? Spencer Gift is on.
There should be a lava lamp around somewhere then.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's like glitter Vulcan flag and Infinite Mirror.
I was just about to say, it's like it just needs like some sort of disco track and people with roller skates on.
I'm sorry, Jim. I was just meditating while listening to the Bee Gees.
Gonna be some funky Vulcans.
Fucking talking.
Hey, get the Vulcan away from me, man.
Jim, have you heard the classical band, the Bee Gees?
Oh, geez. Star Trek and other intergalactic funk. Here we go.
What was that guy's name? Miko?
Yeah.
The guy that did all those disco tracks of like sci-fi stuff?
I think you're right. I don't remember. Oh, man.
I have the Return of the Jedi one where it's like Miko's the Ewok Village Dance.
Oh,
and it's like a half hour of the Ewok dance with like this disco track.
I've got to dig it up. I still have the original Star Wars 8-track with that disco mix on it. So
well, it's good.
It's a Miko or Nico or something like that.
It's awful, but it's good.
It's awful, but it's good. Yeah.
Do you know that?
Like Johnny Marine.
You know, we're talking about like Moby Dick, and we're talking about the quotes that are in this movie. The one to the last I grapple with the from Hell's Heart, I stab at the for hate's sake, I spit my last breath. I use Captain Ahab.
Yeah, Moby Dick.
Yeah, I think. Well, Melville was probably the greatest American writer, in my opinion, ever.
Hey!
What?
Sorry,
what?
That's just my opinion.
Second,
but it's the American Odyssey, isn't it? It's the American Odyssey. It's about the unknown.
You think he was greater than William Shatner?
Well, all right then. Okay.
Author of Star Trek Memories and Tech War.
All right, but you know how they try to bring that back in First Contact, don't they? Because I think he quotes.
That was again there. That was actually one of my favorite. That's my number 3 favorite scene in all the Star Trek movies.
Yeah, you broke your little ships.
Yeah, you broke your little ships, but the first time you actually see Picard show actual emotion.
Oh, when Picard goes Tommy gun crazy?
Yeah. No, that's that. I think you can stop. They're dead now.
Patrick Stewart to me will always be more. I mean, obviously, he's much more well known for that role, but he'll always be more well known to me as Atomics. In June, we've got warp sound likes of even God has never seen.
He had the Hulk Hogan mullet in that movie.
Yeah,
great.
He did, didn't he?
Oh goodness!
And by the way, and I've just found this out actually. And you guys might know this because obviously we're all about similar age. Jeff was absolutely right. The computer in the background in Kirk's apartment was a Commodore PET computer.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, wow.
Now we're going to believe it was there because he likes antiques, you see.
Well, if you look right behind Khan's head under the 4 green lights, you'll see a cassette tape holder.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes.
the
the
I
other
forgot
thing on the
about
other
that.
side is like a. The other thing on the other side looks like just like a radiator or some sort of coffee machine or something. I don't know, but yeah, I can see that now. It's weird. And of course,
Yeah,
these are giant Lego bricks.
it's
Yeah,
a 4 holder
my
like
sheep.
for like those books of cassettes.
I
Jeff was
remember
right as
those.
well.
Yeah.
Jeff was right about building the ship out of Lego because you can see there's a green Lego brick just there.
Well, that's because they ran out of the beige ones, and so they just had to pull a spare one out of the pile.
By the way, the close-ups of the eels are going to Chekhov's here. We're done using a huge rubber replica of Walter Koenig's. Yeah, so somewhere in a prop warehouse, there's a giant rubber version of Walter Koenig's right here.
Do you think that's the one that they used in Pee-wee's Big Adventure? What?
The only man to have a 6-foot ear cast.
Anybody got Walter Koenig's giant ear?
We need it for this one bit for Pee-wee.
Oh,
it'll be a great gag.
Way, if you look at that scene again, there's a true to scale Q-tip next to the giant ear. Apparently. But yeah, there we go. So this is 1982 security access into your computer.
Oh.
Which looks a bit like it's like a late 90s computer game, isn't it? It's like
the borders, the little blue borders with the button.
It's Windows 2000.
Yeah, but this is 82, man. That was top notch.
That was revolutionary for the day.
Yeah. It was 82. Everything was ASCII in 82. Because I can remember sitting down with our VIC-20 and typing in the programs out of the books so we could play games on it or save it to cassette.
Yeah.
So
you know what my favorite detail in this movie, and they had it on the original show, is Kirk's room is like round, so it matches the shape of the ship.
Yeah.
So it actually looks like he's in the same space because it's like, oh yeah, it's the contours of the outside of the ship.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point.
This animation sequence is really good, though, isn't it? For the day, that was like,
oh yeah,
oh yeah, absolutely.
This was like the first like fully rendered CGI used in the movie, right?
Yeah, because I think they did it with. Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
It took roughly 500 Commodore 64s in order to make it happen.
Yeah. It took a million PET computers a million years. It actually took longer for the PET computer to generate this than it would have actually taken in real life.
Yeah, exactly. They started rendering in 1936. By 1982, it was done.
Oh man! But yeah, Khan Noon. The full name is Khan Noonien Singh.
Yep.
Is that in reference to, because the guy who invents data, what's his name?
Sung.
So
very close, yeah.
Is it Noonien Sung?
Noonien Sung.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Because often wrong Sung, as we like to call him.
Isn't his like the backstory to his family that they were involved in augmentation? Because when they did Enterprise, he got involved. Mm-hmm. His predecessor got involved in resurrecting the augments, didn't they? There was like they did a remake of Space Seed with the Enterprise.
Depends on which
at the end when he's in prison, he's like, maybe I'll do AI now.
Yeah, maybe I'll get started on a data.
Maybe I'll make a little friend as a cellmate. A cellmate that won't rape me. I'll call him Data.
But I can rape him if I want.
I'll call him Nice Bubba.
Etc.
And I shall name you Waifu.
Yeah, awful, terrible.
You're way better than the Aryan Brotherhood. I normally.
Oh yeah, it makes you wonder why somebody would do that though in real life. Because there's some weird people who are into this kind of stuff, and
hey,
let's not go any further in that direction.
Don't judge me.
You're not that
I think when they had that Japanese robot, that Japanese guy put a skin on a robot, and it was like Scarlett Johansson's face. I'm like, yeah, we know how to make that.
Yeah, please, yeah. nightmares.
But there was that story, wasn't it, that there was prostitutes in Japan or somewhere getting angry because the sex robots were getting more business than them.
Jeez.
But anyway, so Kirstie Alley was a huge fan of the Star Trek series from 1966 as a child, and Mr. Spock was her favorite character, and she would fantasize about being his daughter. When she auditioned for Saavik, she did an impersonation of Leonard Nimoy's portrayal of Spock, as she knew the character so well. And that's how she got the role.
Well, and that goes back to her eyebrow in the elevator from
yes.
your.
So in every
your
scene, she's probably like shaking in her boots because she's
probably
like with her
hot
heroes.
for Spock. Yeah, hot for Spock. Well, that was the thing, wasn't it? Because I think most ladies found Spock more alluring than Kirk.
Yeah.
Speak logic to me.
Yeah, logic me, baby.
But Leonard Nimoy was a chain smoker, which I've always thought was interesting.
Ah.
You know, because you don't, yeah, but you never see any of that in here. But you know, he's got to be going around smelling like.
By the way,
camels all the time.
This is a well-known. This is actually true, by the way. It's a bit of an urban myth, but it's true that most of the remaining henchmen in Khan's gang are Chippendale dancers.
Except for his son. That's Judson Scott, my favorite actor, who you may know from Briscoe County Jr.
Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah, in a little TV show called The Phoenix that came out in 1982.
Hold on. I thought your favorite actor was Red Brown.
Red Brown is my third favorite actor, and he knows it because I told him that.
You know, you're my
the last time I chatted to Red
actor?
Brown, I was like, you're like my third favorite actor.
Did he do the replay from Space Mutiny? We lost power. We lost power.
So I did challenge him to a go-kart race, and still no response.
We are at 49. We're coming up on 50 minutes, and this is a bit where Kirk's saying this is very odd. They're coming up to the other ship, and they're very suspicious because there's no response. We're all one big happy family in the Federation, and
I like those little cutaways of like just a normal computers where it just has hands, like editor switches.
Yeah,
I've never noticed that before.
The retractable, detectable telescope thing, where Spock always used to hide his Reese's bars. What are you doing, Spock? I'm eating your chocolate bar, aren't you? No, I'm not. This scene here is
love it.
So well done, and it really is, isn't it? It is so much hornblower, isn't it?
It's they're broadsiding the ship like you would with a pilot.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is why this has such a powerful atmosphere, because it draws upon all of the imagery and tactics we are familiar with from.
Well, and they filmed the models as if they were on water, so they have that slow movement like a giant ship, and it gives them that bulk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and always that panic of the watertight doors coming down, sealing off. You didn't want to be caught in there.
Well, I like that in this movie because all the engineers wear like radiation suits.
Yeah. It's a good, nice touches. And that's one of the things I've always respected Star Trek fans for, is that the attention, there's a logic behind the science in that universe.
Yep.
So.
Oh, yeah, like that's a fun fact of Spock's console, when you see him pushing the buttons and all that, is based on an accordion.
Yeah.
Because the prop designer for this movie was like, oh, well, this way it's like an accordion where the keys, so Spock can literally push buttons without looking at the buttons.
Yeah.
Exactly. So speed and efficiency. So we're getting the strategy now, because as they're getting blasted to bits, Kirk is thinking, what can he do now? What has he still got up his sleeve? Because the other theme in this movie is how Kirk always finds an option that no one would even have thought of. And of course, his intellect pitted against the intellect of the opponent, who has
and it's the no-win situation. He's never lost.
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing is it's not necessarily Kirk's intellect, it's Kirk's experience versus Khan's intellect.
Well, yeah, and it comes down to a poker bluff, basically.
Yeah, it's humanity, right? He's the balance. That Star Trek is a Greek tragedy. You get that a couple times in this movie. Well, you get it on when they go down to the planet, because Spock is logic, McCoy is emotion, and Kirk is balance.
And this is the first moment he's seen Khan and realizes what the heck, Khan. Oh dear. And this is the
what
bit
happened
where
to your hair?
Khan gloats.
Where's your shirt, man?
But
check out how my sideburns go straight into my mullet. They're amazing.
I mean, I do love that they just went straight Mad Max.
So, Khan, do you use a Bowflex?
But this movie is definitely, the first movie was over the top philosophy. This is pure straight militarism, isn't it? This is strategy.
It's not even that. It's like Rodimus said. It's the concept of like a Greek play or a Greek tragedy, or even Shakespeare to an extent. So they're playing on classic themes. They're just throwing spaceships and phasers at it.
Oh, there you go. Great broadside.
Oh, and one of my favorite costume touches is Khan's medallion is one of the belt buckles from the Starfleet uniforms. So he clearly strangled somebody and just give me that.
Yeah. I think a lot of Star Trek is a lot of idealism and choices based upon who we are as humans and battling for survival, of course. But I think, definitely this is very much drawn upon moral tragedy and human nature. But also, I do believe it is. It's not like the Next Generation was about really a feel-good factor of we are humanitarians out in the universe. This goes right back to the core of it is a military ship. It's for exploration, but this is a military operation in regards to you've got these two captains who are pitted against each other. But yeah, I mean the Khan is definitely like the incarnation of a moral mistake, isn't he? Because he's an augmented human, so he's not just got the augmented strength; he's got the augmented vanity and pride. One thing that the actor said, and this is how he's so convincing, that he realized as an actor that villains don't see themselves as villains; they don't see themselves as evil.
Exactly.
They see themselves as good, and what they're doing is for everybody else's benefit. Which is what
that's
gives
why
them
it works that they never meet each other, right? Because if they're face to face, then it's well, there's clearly good and evil. But when they're separated, it's you could side with either of them.
Yeah. And at a minimum, villains see themselves as justified in what they're doing. There's a logic behind what they're doing. They're not just doing it just to be evil.
I've got a disappointment.
It's just a pure vengeance. He's Ahab.
Yeah. He is definitely, and for everything he's ever lost and everything that he ever wanted to be, and Kirk is the person that he's focused upon. He's totally become obsessed with Kirk now.
Well, Kirk took his greatest ambition, which was, he was literally super Hitler on Earth. He ruled what is it, a third of the world or something like that?
Yep.
And then he's reduced down to being a dust. Like a dust ball in space with 12 people.
Yeah.
Here's where Kirk gets his revenge because all of these ships have a 6-digit or 5-digit code number, which is ridiculously simple. But
it's something that Khan. It's the only thing that Khan wouldn't know about.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised he's able to fly the ship at all. Really,
it's the same as my luggage.
Khan, because they're supermen, they're genetic super freaks, even their brains. Because in the original series, he took over the Enterprise.
That's right. So he's now learned how to use it.
Yeah, he just went through and looked at all the technical manuals, and he's like, "All right, I know how to fly it."
Tell me when we get to Scotty coming back up on the bridge.
All right,
I'm ahead of you guys.
Okay,
no problem. So going back to that point as well. And by the way, I need to disappoint Ralph that the pecs are actually prosthetic.
I don't believe it.
Sorry, Ram.
Lies. There's
he
Scotty.
was a muscular man anyway, worked out, but they wanted to make the pecs even bigger. So
no, those are his.
No, I think
Right.
I think they're prosthetic.
Y'all
No,
are
that
gonna
was a rumor because
No,
people couldn't
they're
believe that
his.
Mr. Rourke was that big.
those are
Well, we'll have to
mine.
do further research on that.
Yeah, be sure and clear your browser history after that.
Yeah.
Hang on. Let's go
Con
look for
boobs.
prosthetic.
Coms, man boobs, moobs. Moobs.
Oh, I've been poking him with this light stick all day and I get no reaction.
Oh, this thing doesn't work in this kind of way. I don't think I can use it like this. The Wrath.
I've been shooting him
of,
with a laser pointer. Is he getting
we're gonna
better?
have to. We can either rename the movie The Wrath of Moobs or The Moobs of Khan.
I think the moves of Khan definitely.
So
one of
this
the
is a
best
bit.
touches. This is what makes it like anti-Roddenberry. You got the blood on the uniform.
Yeah, blood on the
Yeah.
uniform.
Great.
The
touch.
reality of it all. But the whole thing of a young kid dying is reminiscent of Western movies as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
He's just
And
a
the great
kid.
thing is when Kurt goes to the bridge, he still has on the bloody uniform.
Yeah, that's done deliberately, isn't it? Right in the center of
It's a
his
great
chest.
touch.
Believe it
Yeah.
or not, I found an article about whether Khan had prosthetic pectorals.
Oh
Hang
no!
on.
Go on then.
Well, that was a
So
rumor because
you're-
people only
you're
knew him
keeping
from
me in
Fantasy
suspense.
Island, where he wore a suit all the time.
Dude, I gotta know.
Hang on.
By the way,
Just
while
The
you're
look
doing
up,
that,
the chest was
shirtless-
all Montalban.
Shirtless
Oh, here
Khan.
we
Was it?
go.
Oh, okay then. Fine.
I
And this
told
is
you.
I think this is the director. Hang on.
I never lie about
They
Armando.
look false though, don't they?
Dude,
I
you-
always thought that they were fake, but
Yeah.
obviously not.
Armando never have fake boobs.
rich
We
Corinthian
ruled by
leather.
apes. May they
These
be
are-
apes as wonderful as you.
Authentic.
Authentic Montalban the moobs.
Authentic Corinthian boobies.
Nacho.
Authentic.
My pecs are made of Corinthian leather.
These are
The finest Chrysler.
authentic Mexican moves.
And you thought I was sticking around with a midget doing nothing.
I bench press that midget 5 times a day.
Hi, Ricardo Gonzalez Pedro Montalban.
My tattoo, come to me. I need to do curls.
Tattoo, it's time for workout.
I can use
I
a sword
squats. I never
with
miss
my
leg days.
legs.
It's
My
peg day
nipples
tattoo.
shoot
Yeah.
bullets.
Every day
Give me
is
the
back
walnuts.
day.
Hey man.
Oh,
So
and
we're up to the
I love the nebula, like the colors in space, which
Mm,
is weird. It's in so few movies that they make space pretty.
Yeah, it's always yeah.
yeah, they don't
It's
do that
only
in
in
Star
low
Wars
budget
very often,
movies,
do they?
which is odd.
I just want to have stars in the background, and then I pan down to a planet. And there's a
I'm
big
thinking
spaceship.
we take some black plywood and we just drill some holes in it and put a light behind it.
Could
That's
someone
right.
get us a velvet cloth and some pins?
Poke some holes. That's like the
Our stars just pin holes in the curtain of night. No one knows.
Disney does that really well. They take a script and they poke loads of holes.
Oh, oh.
Well, just
How
take
can
an
we make
IP,
this bland
take,
and palatable for the whole world?
Can imagine your favorite IP. Then imagine Disney buying it and poking shitloads of holes.
Captain, I believe you got some spaghetti sauce on your shirt, sir.
Oh yes. There's
Oh,
poor
lasagna.
lighting in the restaurant, and I ordered meatballs.
I always order meatballs when I wear white. I'm a fool. What can I say? I live on the edge.
I wouldn't care. The rest of my jacket is actually red. Um,
In the future, everybody will be wearing them like this. Trust me.
and this is where Savik's always quoting regulations to him all the time.
I'm way ahead of you guys.
And I love
Oh,
that Sulu
okay.
just smirking behind her. It's a great touch.
I'm thinking that 3 minutes is peppered all through this.
I think it probably is.
Yeah, must have
Mhm.
been because yeah,
It's
they're
probably just like
now,
sweeping shots of spaceships or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, they've just now got into the lift and they're getting
Yeah,
ready to go over to the
um,
station.
Flash was saying earlier on about that sequence on the Genesis transformation, and yeah, it's first complete computer generated sequence ever used in a movie. It was the brainchild of ex-Boeing engineer Loren Carpenter, who, after being at Boeing, went on to join George Lucas's ILM.
Wow.
And he discovered that. Oh yes, I've been reading a lot about these recently. Mandelbrot fractals.
Yep.
Really looking into that at the moment. Could be used to create realistic mountain landscapes for computer animations of new aircraft designs. Previously intractable problem. Yeah, the Mandelbrot fractals, fascinating stuff. As it's about infinite variation within a given standard equation, which is what some people are now arguing is this like the sign of a creative intelligence behind all of creation. Very interesting stuff. Mandelbrot
There's the poster.
I love the way that when they're
Oh, that's
going
my
through
favorite
this,
scene. Space
there's
rat.
a rat there.
Space
Space
rat.
rat. Space rat.
I'll let that out.
I love
how
this.
a rat get in space.
Remember
Wait a minute.
When did Alien come out? When was the movie Alien out?
79.
Right. So when they're going through this, I know there's no sort of like alien monsters in this, but
Thermonomics. No wonder it's got rat.
But this is like, and also reminiscent of Predator, which wasn't actually out yet, obviously,
Oh, yeah.
ironically. But I just think the way they did this, where it was like there was nobody around. It was the empty space. Empty space is scary. When you enter somewhere where there should be people and there's nobody, you think, where is everybody? What's happened? What else is here? And that's done well in some movies. It's done really well in this movie.
And this is where that's what I love about this movie is it has stakes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, Khan is dangerous because like what happened to the crew of the Reliant? They're all dead.
Yep.
They're wearing their clothes. They're wearing their ornaments. And it's like, what happened to this crew? Oh, they're all hanging up like deer.
Slaughtered upside down, yeah.
Quick little thing. McCoy, when he finds the body, points out the stages of rigor mortis. That's how he gets a rough estimate on how long it's been. So that's a nice realistic touch that is actually used in forensics.
Thanks to Body Farms.
Yes. Man, we could do a whole podcast on Body Farm stuff.
Oh, so fascinating. My uncle got to visit one. He said it was he said it would be horrific if it wasn't so fascinating.
Yes, I could completely understand.
But he said it is like walking onto the set of like this creepiest horror movie, like 10 horror movies at once.
Yeah.
Because they literally put bodies in every possible way that someone could hide a body.
Yeah.
So they have refrigerators with bodies in them, cars with bodies in them. Some are buried in flower beds, like just however you would imagine finding a body.
Here we go. And this is I've just found a bit of trivia here about the battle of wits between Kirk and Khan in the Mutara Nebula. Was inspired by the battle between the destroyer Captain Robert Mitchum and the U-boat commander Kurt Jurgens in The Enemy Below, 1957.
Kurt Jurgens, boy.
Which was also the inspiration for Balance of Terror episode Star Trek. So there you go. I talked about the Romulan human war when the Romulan ships were equated to submarines. They were sort of giving it that analogy. So that's it there. So again, you've got that as much sort of naval references as possible, and I think it works really well.
Yeah, and I've always appreciated that Star Trek has used naval terminology, or I'm sorry, naval ranking systems. That's why when we got the U.S. Space Force and they went with Air Force, Army style ranking systems, it just seemed completely wrong. Yeah. It seems like basically you're sailing the high seas of space is the way I've always viewed it.
Oh, interesting. We're now at, because we haven't really talked about what's happening on the screen.
Oh yeah, we should come back to the movie.
1 hour, 7 minutes and 10 seconds. We're at the bit where they're just about to teleport inside the planet from the base, because this is the bit where Spock is telling Kirk how long they're going to need to repair the ship. and because they know that Khan is overhearing the airwaves, and Vulcans never lie.
Ooh.
I exaggerated.
So yeah, basically the sequence, like I say earlier, where the Genesis device on the barren planet was shot using entirely computer generated effects, but I don't know how long it took. I don't know how long that took to do that, but it was I think the first time they got the Pixar studio to do it. The Pixar studio had just come to be at that point, and they got Pixar to do it.
Then there'll be a chance to get away from it all.
I love the original, that like the way they did the teleportation in those movies. It's just so good.
Yeah. Yeah, the transporter was so good in this one. Absolutely. You know, and I realized you were dealing with 60s technology for the original transporter, but it was a nice upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
Look, the cone.
Yeah, there it is. Again. There's that cone again.
Cone of doom.
Yeah, why is it always there? What's going on with that? Why is that always there? Kim Cattrall, as you were saying before, takes over the role of Savak later in Star Trek VI. She was actually the Nicholas Meyer's first choice for Savak.
Oh, look, Choxy's got a phaser.
See, Dad's Day is coming up here soon. Father's Day.
Give me a hand.
And nothing like meeting your son and he tries to stab you with a knife. Oi, got a license for that, boy.
Yeah, making up for the years of not beating your son.
Yeah, does what every father dreams to do, beat the crap out of his kid.
Yeah.
Is that my son? He tried to stab us with a knife. Dirty little bastard.
Like son, like father, like son. I stabbed my father at.
Don't hate him. I stabbed my father. Oh, here we go. This is the best bit. Best bit coming up. Best bit coming up. This is where
they are wearing red shirts, so
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But he can't quite do it, even though he's been given his order to do it. But no, he Captain Terrell totally spazzes out at this point here. Son of a bitch! Ah!
Yeah, goodbye, Chachi.
Why is that cone and everything? I don't know.
It's all over the place.
Yeah, it looks
cones everywhere.
By the way, the bit when
so many cones.
The bit where Savak and
but even better than the cones is Khan's sidekick that has a planar peanut like top for sure.
Yeah, no, it's not. I'm thinking he looks like a waffle.
Yeah, he's like, I am the waffle fry.
My argumentation was I was genetically crossed with a waffle or an Eggo man.
It looks just like the Planar Peanut Man. Like he skinned the Planar Peanut Man.
There you go. He's gonna shoot himself. This freaked me right out when I was a kid seeing this.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking, how does he physically manage to do it though? Because it vaporizes the phaser as well. Can a phaser vaporize itself?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it would. I mean, I'm not a phaserologist, but I'm guessing if you're holding it, it'll probably...
Anyway, here comes. This is the giant ear. I can't see the Q-tip there.
Quick! Let's contact Shatterversity and find out.
Lord, that is horrible.
It is pretty disgusting. Impressive.
That's what you get for going to Wendy's.
Personally, I would have been like, I always thought, like, is he going to shoot Chekhov? Like, listen, Chekhov, it's for your own good. You don't want to live through this.
Shouldn't have had that chicken Kiev.
We should have brought out the joke. And Golden Corral's new slogan.
I love this part.
Yeah, I love this. Yeah. Oh, we're getting to the point here where I've had that on the screen for ages. Hang on.
Admiral.
Still alive.
Tactical.
Old friend.
You keep missing the target.
He does such a great job in this movie.
I really like
He
the
had
way
stuff to work with.
I like the way Ricardo Montalban's playing his frustration.
Yeah.
Oh, we have apologies, Gabrielle.
Touche, Tattoo.
Hey, Gabrielle.
Well, where we are here, Gabrielle's turned up. Hello, I have successfully hit the black hole. That is my pleasure. Yes, I can sympathize as well, Gabrielle. That doesn't even look like a real ear. Yes, I know.
That's only because you haven't seen my ear.
Hey. So Gabrielle, we are at 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 25 seconds now.
Or 1 hour, 10 minutes, 23 seconds right now.
Yeah,
If you did
depending on which version you're watching.
Yeah, watching the director's cut.
We're leading up to the con.
You don't have to watch the director's cut if you don't want to. Buried alive. Buried alive.
Con!
So there you go. That's or that's or if you're a cat.
There's there on the replay. There is no question where exactly we're at.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And there are a lot of cones in that room.
As everybody in here screams, "God!"
So
the Shatner chop.
If he could have had a proper fight with them, he would have used the Shatner chop, the scissor con,
yeah,
and also the ear
Scott
slap.
comes in with the neck pinch.
Dude,
Oh no, he's not here.
WWE doesn't have anything on Shatner.
Drop kick.
Oh dear.
I do believe that William Shatner did beat the Heartbreak Kid fair and square in a match.
Without a doubt.
Well, he's a decent dancer. Oh dear, but yeah. So here they are in the planet. Obviously, the Ralph of Khan's taken the Genesis device, which does this kind of thing.
Dooby dooby doo.
Yeah, but there's a bit of trivia here about Deep Space Nine. I don't know if anybody's interested, but the Miranda-class starship, the USS Reliant, was reused in Next Generation in '87, and also in Generations '94, and also in Deep Space Nine '93. They are the Soyuz class, made as
they're Miranda class.
Yeah, as Flash pointed out, a complete happy accident of being the engine stuck on the wrong way. So the Kirsty apparently was uncertain if fans would accept a Vulcan female, and
luckily it wasn't 2022.
Yeah,
yeah, the exact opposite is true now. The exact opposite is true now. Hi, I'm male and I'd like to audition for a no. Hello, I'd like to audition for the part of Batman. Are you male? Yes, no.
I don't know. Well, but think of all the reaction videos that could be made from it.
Think of all of the incel rage.
They changed the name of the slave one spaceship. See, they wouldn't use the word slave.
They're changing Spock into a woman.
Hey, and before
give them ideas.
Yeah, hold on. Before any YouTubers get upset about us poking fun at you, I'm subscribed to all your channels. I love it. I laugh at all of it. I love it. Good. So,
and
we love everybody here.
Yes,
and without you guys, Disney would not make all that money.
Exactly.
Without all the outrage, everyone would suddenly wake up and realize that Disney can't write a script for shit.
Yeah. And without all the outrage, Disney would have to spend millions of dollars on publicity.
Well, to be fair, the only people watching it are the outrage YouTubers. So
it's like I'm afraid to admit my sister-in-law likes the new Obi-Wan show. And
I am sorry. You should disown her immediately.
Yeah. Because as you said, it's like go to a restaurant, get the worst meal in creation, say, yeah, that was okay. So that's
exactly.
that meal's never going to get any better unless people start saying this was shit.
Yeah.
On
yeah,
steak, and they bring out chicken.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's
well,
just
that's
like
chicken steak.
if
Thing.
Disney was a cooking show, it would be Kitchen Nightmares. It would be like Gordon Ramsay going, "What the fucking thing is this?"
No, if it was a
shit?"
kitchen show, they'd call it Reheated because it's all leftovers.
There you go.
Ding 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 ding.
Remember
meals.
Obi-Wan? We just put him in the microwave
Hey.
and heated him up for another show.
Remember that great taste from your favorite restaurant? Well, why not have that at home? It's not a great taste.
We put it in a doggy bag for you and delivered it for you.
That is another thing to point out, that this movie was made off of the original series, and a character off of the a character pulled from the original series, and they made a brand new movie around him, and they went and they did all the research and the continuity and all that stuff. That does not happen today.
No, and the characters act like the characters from the original series.
Exactly.
It makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, they maintain the history. They keep the continuity going. All they actually make great care to present something
before the prequels made billions of dollars. That ruined it forever.
Yeah.
Like, but Lucas never even saw his own movies, and like, hey, guess what? None of us need to. We'll still make money. It's just a brand name.
That scene there where you see the cave, which is phase 2, which was beautiful scene, but you had an extra bit in there that you wouldn't normally get on the theatrical bit, where you see more of it, and it's really well done. I mean, a fantastically well done scene. Can I cook or what? But that's. I think the director's cut just has little extra bits here and there, so it's not much, but it does
Here's
enhance
where
it.
we learn about the cheating on the Kobayashi Maru.
Oh yeah.
But Kirsty had even though she wanted to emulate Spock, she had a big problem with the idea of a woman having no emotion. She said that people might watch it and think she was a complete bitch. Can I say that on YouTube? I just did. By concentrating on emotionality of Savik's Romulan heritage, however, she was able to get a bit more emotion into it, which accounts for her crying on the screen at one point. I didn't even realize she was part Romulan and she had that emotion coming through, because I always wondered she was a bit different from the other Vulcan characters. But that's sort of from an age where actresses would say that they were conscious of expectations about female characters are supposed to be compassionate, really, normally. Not all of them are. Obviously, Lady Macbeth was evil as out, wasn't she? Shakespeare's Macbeth, so it's not a given, but it's a normal trait, and a very different world then from what we have now, unfortunately. But
nowadays, if they redid Macbeth, Lady Macbeth would
be the hero.
Would be the hero, and she'd have machine gun. And she beat up all the guys.
It'd be like the TNG movies.
Yeah.
If they did like a biblical epic as well of like Elijah, it would probably be renamed as Jezebel, the story of a victim, the misunderstood murderous queen Jezebel. See it from her point of view.
And I like the going along with this. I like they've been through battle. Both ships are damaged, and they're assessing what they have, how they can work it together. They're having to think through it. It's not just a it's not a Deus ex machina solution.
But Khan has already been duped because he thinks Kirk is trapped.
Yeah,
and he thinks it's going to be 6 days and before the Enterprise can walk again.
Brilliant special effects.
Hours.
Well, this is it, isn't it? And he's believed the lie, he's swallowed it completely. And again, you've got that literally within 1 minute, he's going, "Gone, buried alive," and then 2 minutes later, "Yep, I'm out of here, bye." Typical Spock. It's like, "No, we're all toast. Scotty, give me warp line." Right, we're done. Anybody want a hamburger?
Give it a roll. She's good, Captain.
Typical Kirk, but and then also, like Flash said, upper hand. Khan has no idea that he's ready to go now, and he's got his speedos on, and he's going for it.
Hold on, wait a minute. I think you're watching the wrong movie.
Yeah, sorry, hang on. God, I wondered why there was so much baby
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not Star Trek The Wrath of
Hang
Dong.
on, sorry. Shit.
I like the photon torpedo too. You finally get the
black,
view of it.
The black glossy
and you
torpedo.
see them loading it up, which is
It's
neat.
not. We've got ladies watching. We need to tamper this down a bit.
Well, no. I'm coming back to that whole seafaring submarine thing.
That's what he said. You. Oh, he's got a scar on his pecs. The moves of Khan.
I work out.
You know that music? They use that for all of the Klingon, every single other movie. This is like the Goldfinger of the Star Trek movies.
It really is. Yeah.
It's like every sort of every trope was set up in this movie. And the
this
music
one in part 3 that's kind of always overlooked. But 3 is
Yeah.
another one that sets up all the tropes.
So, nebula penetration, gentlemen.
Stop texting Spock. Pay attention.
Spock, will you get them off Netflix? We're busy.
Spock's busy swiping left.
Chilling.
Can you imagine if social media continues into the future? People are on the deck of the Enterprise, and it's like, Spock, when you get off Twitter, we're busy.
Stop doing the floss. Come on.
Yes, Captain, but somebody has just said something very illogical. I need to correct them.
Captain Khan just sent me a negative comment on Twitter. It was most illogical.
Khan,
here we go.
Has blocked me.
Here we go with the antagonist.
Kick. Old David Kirk and his sweater wrapped around the neck.
Nice. He looks like he's going to a tennis match.
Mm-hmm.
You know the guy who plays
Montalban's
sidekick?
Are
The
there
guy who
nerds up
plays
here?
second in command, Augment, he got a really raw deal with this movie, His agent totally screwed him over. And he doesn't even get a proper credit in the movie.
Judson Scott? Really?
Yeah, something went wrong with his agent, apparently, and he didn't get a proper... He got a bad deal out of the movie.
TV Phoenix?
Full impulse power. This is where he... Shut up, lad. I want full
emotion.
Give us
emotion
full power now.
Tactical.
And this is his downfall because he's got that elevated emotions. He can't control his emotions.
And we are ahead again. So
also, his downfall is 2D thinking in space.
All right, so yeah, we just went to emergency power on the Enterprise.
I thought you were about to say you went to emergency power and know where you are. That power cut. Oh,
not yet.
It's a super emergency.
I think we're pretty close now.
I'm going to buy a dictionary of all of the
general trivia. Crap.
We made up words that Biden's come out with over the last 2 or 3 years.
Oh, good luck on that. Now listen, Pat.
If it was allowed, I'm sure someone would have printed out a book of them.
If it was allowed.
If it was allowed.
Let's just hope whoever does it doesn't end up from a tree with some sort of wound in his chest.
They would never get printed.
Goodness me. Anyway, we can't say any more about that. This scene here is fantastic, isn't it? Where they've got the overlap. As you said, the 2D space got the overlap, and this is reminiscent of the deep, like the submarine at the bottom there, and the warship on top.
Yeah, they're flying blind. It's excellent.
And it's just drawn upon every single atom of naval nostalgia, and it really switches a light bulb on your head, doesn't it, when you see this stuff?
Yeah. I mean that's it. Because
they've lost proper visual there, and I'm just going off gut, eyeballing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Once again, George Takei screws it up.
Yep.
Oh my!
Oh my! Asian
my.
driver.
I shoot like a.
No wonder he doesn't. No wonder he doesn't like Kirk.
I'm so jealous that I don't find Kirsty attractive.
Okay, now try parallel parking the Enterprise. Oh
no! This bit here with the strobe. I think if anybody's epileptic, they should look away now.
Yeah, I just went from Andromeda Strain.
Talking about 2D. As a Sikh, Khan was likely familiar with 2D chess.
Oh, that's right.
Kirk and Spock routinely played 3D chess, like Trump does, using an attack board to come up with. But yeah, so there you go, Flash. See, 2D.
Well, they're using 3D space, as in space, gravity is not an issue, so you can attack from literally any angle.
Yeah, and there we go.
Khan is thinking in 2-dimensional, like aerial combat.
Yeah, you don't understand. We're huge here. We play underwater 3D backgammon. It's the best games ever. Matter of fact, 4D backgammon, huge.
Scotty, stop drinking.
Space Force. In fact, I've already started playing. I'm playing 10D chess now. And I like to. Oh, my copy of the movie's gone on the fritz. I'll have to get it back.
Hold on. Yeah, you know what? While you do that, read the chat because Gabriella is commenting on my lovely fro.
I think that's going. Khan's hair is also, but yeah, I think my internet's going a bit fritzy, lads. If I do drop out, apologies, but I think it's going a bit fritzy.
You're still coming through good.
Yeah,
I've come back and I've skipped forward a bit, and Jacob has just come back on the bridge. He's got a bit of a limp.
We are at 1 minute 29, or I'm sorry, 1 hour 29 minutes and 50 seconds right now.
You're a little bit ahead of me, so I'll skip ahead again. There we go. Right, so yeah, what was I saying? So the 10D chess. Anyway, there you go. Trump
37D underwater basket weaving
in space.
Huge.
Yeah, fantastic scene though, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is
the lightning going off inside the nebula as well. So
yeah, this all comes back to submarines where they go silent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, silent running,
radio silence.
Shut everything down. Everybody, nobody's walking. Everybody's quiet.
I just wish we could have Sean on there somewhere. Oh, give me Sean.
Well, and I love there's no music.
Go to stealth mode. Go to stealth mode.
But there's no music in the background or anything. It's just silence.
Dead silence.
Great.
Has Khan got like a skeletal hand glove?
Yeah,
he's got a Michael Jackson glittery glove.
Yeah.
There's a lot of glittery disco stuff in this movie.
That's my love tattoo.
This scene, brilliant, isn't it? Where they just come. Oh, he's got the joystick. He's got the joystick out.
Heck yeah.
Pew 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 pew.
Break in case of emergency.
It's a shame that computer games weren't that advanced at the time, because that's a great tie into a computer game.
Mm-hmm.
And with the one operable photon torpedo port, there we go. And kicking the crap out of Khan's ship, and I think overall they still stand up, don't they, the model effects on the explosion.
Oh yeah. Unbelievable.
And the music's brilliant. James Horner did do a good job with it.
Yeah.
I like the little
It's another
sparks
character in the movie.
It is, isn't it?
I mean, it adds like that was like my friend always said, like clearly they have speakers on the outside of Starfleet ships, because every time you see the ship go by, it's like boring.
Yeah. Exactly. In reality, it'd be a lot more boring than that, wouldn't it? If we silence
Yeah, and I was muted, but I wanted to point out people people have to remember this is 1982.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't
Yeah,
understand.
it's great effects for the day, isn't it?
Yeah,
This is 82 and like not even half the budget of Star Wars, I believe, because this is a low budget movie.
Yeah. Well, and filmed in 81. So, I mean, 1 year's difference, but.
So what are we at now? We're at 1 hour 58. Sorry, 1 hour 32 and 58 seconds.
Correct.
1 hour 32 minutes and 58 seconds. And even this machine they've got to activate the Genesis device is really well done, isn't it?
It's very Thunderbirds.
And this is where he starts quoting
Melville.
Moby Dick, Melville.
When he gets to ham it up as an actor.
Yeah. And just a really well done scene because this section here for the Genesis device as well, I don't know how much money they spent on it, but I mean it's clearly they've put a lot of thought into what that would look like for the day anyway. To the last I will grapple with thee. And it is a really good metaphor as well because he is like Ahab. He's completely crazy.
Yeah.
The bit I like most about Moby Dick is the bit where Ahab's dead body on the side of the whale, because of the way the whale's moving. It looks like it's
waving.
beckoning.
Yeah,
waving, beckoning them in. That's so good. That.
Follow me.
Yeah, follow me to the depths. Because Moby Dick's supposed to represent the unknown, isn't it? The void, the death, and all of that.
It's kind of an analogy of war, where it's like Ahab is the government urging you to fight his war.
And this is the bit where Spock gets up, makes his decision, and nobody even notices him leaving.
Such a good scene. So well done.
Yep, absolutely. And it sticking with it in character. It's the kind of thing that Spock would sit down, run the mental calculations in his head. Yep. This is the only way.
Yep. I've done the calculations.
And I know people watching this probably only know Leonard Nimoy as a famed folk singer. But
that's true. He was an actor too.
I'm going to try and get that gif. Hang on.
A Legend of Bilbo Baggins. That was
right.
top 10 material there.
That was all the rage.
Hang on, I'm looking for that gif now, gentlemen.
The Folsom Prison Blues. He did the what's the Glenn Campbell song about sleeping around with that lady?
Oh yeah.
I can't think of the name of it.
Bless him.
Oh, Gentle on My Mind. He did Gentle on My Mind to Glenn Campbell.
Yeah.
Great.
I love the
and there was since we're talking about famous gifs for songs that they did. Oh, this is brilliant! This scene there where he gets the gloves on, and he's obviously done the "Remember."
Yeah.
And this footage obviously was reused for Star Trek 3. And
Spock, get out of the disco chamber.
They're gonna drop a sick bead on you.
And
you can't be that close to the Bee Gees and survive.
This is an example though that Kirk
you cannot floss that fast.
Kirk always has an ace up his sleeve though, doesn't he? Kirk always has an ace up his sleeve. But in this instance he doesn't have an ace up his sleeve. So it's like, as you were saying earlier, the Spock is an extension of Kirk. And they're all like one person, Spock, Kirk, and Bones. And Kirk has already made that decision to be Kirk's ace up the sleeve.
Yeah.
And without Kirk even having to think of an ace up the sleeve, because they're all screwed. They're completely screwed at this point. There's no way they can get away in time.
And that's it.
More than that, it's him making the sacrifice. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one.
Well, that, and it's the whole team working together.
Yeah.
And
the idea
it's
that
not one person doing it.
Well, this is it, and it's that biblical reference as well. What somebody who would sacrifice themselves for their friends, make that sacrifice so that the rest of their friends can live.
All
Gabrielle
for one,
says,
one for all.
"This is it." My delicate ears. Gabrielle
Yeah,
says.
sorry.
Khan's hair is also elevated.
It is glorious. Glorious.
My hair is closer to heaven.
Oh,
my last breath at thee.
I'm desperately trying to get this GIF in time now. Hang on. See if I can do it in time. Here we go. And there it goes. The Genesis machine. Sir, the
We've got signal.
Hit
We've
it!
got signal.
Do it now!
Sir, we've got bars. We can text.
Engage.
Text away, Mr. Sulu.
And I liked the way they did the warp. In
Yeah,
Star Trek
it's
2.
brilliant. This bit here, where it goes through the halos. It's even do the noise exactly.
Yeah.
Plus, you've seen this movie too many times. He's even get the sound from it right. It's basically and the way it goes through the halos of gas.
That's the sound I
falling.
make when I'm like running late to the bus. Like,
Wow, it must be cold on the bridge.
or when I walk past people in the grocery store, I'm always like,
There we go. So
like, could you make a sound? I'm like, no, you're just really slow, buddy.
there we are. Bill Baggins.
Don't you know I'm doing work factor 6?
So if we're talking about Spock's musical achievements, we should also talk about William Shatner.
Oh no!
Lucy in the
Hey,
sky.
Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me.
Mr. Tambourine.
I'll be high as a kite by then.
Yeah.
I
I
love
think it's gonna be a long time. So touchdown brings me round and fine.
Oh man.
I'm not the man
Hey,
you
fight.
think I'm at all.
5 a.m.
I'm a rocket. Rocket Man burning out his fuel.
So
I remember seeing that on TV when it first happened. I mean, when it first came out, I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Your poor ears.
So here we are as the planet.
You know what I remember about
life.
that song is Chris Elliott recreated that on Letterman.
So as the planet is born, Spock is on the way out, and this is the emotional scene that
I
makes
love
everybody.
too, like that Spock and Khan are making the ultimate sacrifice simultaneously too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
and here.
This one was but this was the scene that was done right.
Yeah.
As opposed to the other one.
And I can
because
tell you,
this one it's subtle.
Well, and as a kid, this one crushed me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they did this one right.
And it's the way that there's the barrier between them as well.
Well, even so, he straightens his suit out, and then he
pulls
bumps
his uniform
into the wall.
down.
No, that is great. Yeah.
I mean, it's
he's an officer to the end,
and it's somewhat realistic because he can't see.
And because Matty's already crying.
Yeah.
And this is it. Nobody failed to break down.
Oh, it's awful because it's like watching a dog die, right? Just.
It's the ultimate sacrifice.
And once again, back to
Says,
silence.
Don't grieve, Admiral. It is logical.
And you know, now the music starts coming in very softly. The music really does just fill in so much and add so much to this movie.
But look at the way that Kirk is powerless to do anything to save his friend's life. If he could have done anything, he would have done something. And he has to watch his friend die. And it's even more poignant because the two of them were good friends, and sadly Leonard has now passed on. You know. And Gabriel's crying as well.
It's a great scene. Great scene.
I have been and always shall be your friend.
Your friend.
Your friend.
The needs of me. Not like the needs of you. Or the one.
And then you get the motif of Star Trek there.
Yeah.
The fanfare. That's what it's about. Trying
But
to make everything a better place.
The counterpoint, or the point being made on this, is that Kirk has always he's always cheated death, but he's never had to pay. He's never had to face the consequence. Yeah, he's never had to face the consequence of it, and this is the moment where he does.
And that's the theme of the whole movie.
Yep.
I mean, it opens on the Kobayashi Maru, which is like telling you the entire movie.
Yeah. Isn't it? And it really comes down to the essence of this movie is about life and death.
Well,
and you can't get more meaningful than that. And that's why this movie remains, in my opinion, the greatest Star Trek movie ever made. And it's perfect.
This is the part that always gets me, is when Kirk cracks up. It's so real.
And Kirstie Alley cries at this point as well. There's Kirstie crying.
Excellently done.
I mean, how could you not cry watching him deliver that line?
I know.
You know, and that's the thing.
Scotty gets a pipe suit.
For all
Thank God we have a Scotsman, because our CD player is broken. And they all know how to play bagpipes.
I was going to say, for all the crap that we give Shatner for his acting, that was very well done.
Yeah.
Well, but that's the funny thing, is no one gives Shatner crap for his acting. They give the parodies of Shatner crap for his acting.
Because when he says that voice crack, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And I give him a good send off there with the bagpipes.
The other one that I thought he did a fantastic job with was on Star Trek.
There you go. Off it goes, lads. Amazing Grace.
Star Trek, what was it, The Undiscovered Country?
Yeah.
Where he finds out that he's going to, or he's having that back and forth with Spock about going to do a peace with the Klingons.
Only Nixon can go to China, Captain.
Yeah. and you know, he did a fantastic job in that scene. I thought it was excellent. A guy who had been fighting Klingons all of his life and is upset because now he's.
And they killed his son. Klingon bastards killed my son.
That's the one.
And the music, because they use that against him in court later.
Yeah.
Remember when you said this, Captain?
You see, in my opinion, it's only this movie and Undiscovered Country that, in my opinion, are. I like Star Trek the movie, but I can relate to this film and I can relate to Undiscovered Country. They're both human stories. And they're the two finest original cast movies, in my opinion.
Yep.
Number 2, and then the last one, Undiscovered Country. Generations, a bit.
And they both had the same Nicholas Meyer directing and writing too.
Yeah, and that's a man who understands the human soul. So, and this is the essence of drama, lads, because this is why we watch drama. This is why we watch movies, because this is the whole point of the narrative, isn't it? You're looking back on you. It's a mirror. You're looking back on yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So, in the chat, like I say, we had Gabrielle said, funerals are always worse for some reason. Ugly cry every time. Well, emotions are powerful, aren't they? So that's the point. It's aren't they? So don't worry about anything being ugly. Really, it's real. That's all that matters. So this is great. That this reconciliation between Kirk and his son, which is brilliant. Obviously, as we know, unfortunately, he loses his son, and the character dies in the next movie. But at least there is this moment of reconciliation, anyway.
Yeah.
Which is part of Kirk's journey as well.
And that's the other thing about, continuity. They carried that they carried this whole Son storyline from the first or from the second to the third, and then it resurfaces in the sixth. That becomes a major motivator or a major motivation for Kirk. And that's when they used to write movies with continuity in them.
Yeah.
Isn't it? And I think the thing, and especially post Coof as well, this movie's only gotten more meaningful.
Yep.
In the fact that it's about the value of the people in your life, and not neglecting or underestimating the people who are.
I love you guys.
I love you too, Jeff.
Yeah, y'all are okay.
But isn't it great that you're looking? The idea of this film is about new beginnings as well, isn't it? It's about redemption as well.
I feel young.
I feel young.
It is a far, far better thing I do.
Ooh, ironic
ever
line
done
from
before.
Bones.
Yep.
He's really
Which
not
is-
gone as long as we can remember. As long as we remember him.
Which is
And he does that
a line from
cryptic-
Tale of Two
cryptic
Cities,
pause.
isn't it? Tale of Two Cities, because sacrifices himself. for
And that
his
was the
friends.
book that Spock gave him on his birthday.
Yes, there you go. Fantastic.
Kurt's the offcut of this is Bones then starts to want to kill Kirk so he can mate. So
But it's a good
Wanna
ensemble
fight, Jim?
piece. It's. Do you know what it is as well about this movie? Everybody acts so well, and they work together. Not just a team in the whole story, but the actors work together as a team. It's a
Yeah.
great ensemble piece. No divaism at all. Everybody's working together to get it to make the best story possible.
Space.
The final frontier. And that's what gives it a timeless element, doesn't it? It gives it a timeless character.
Well,
And I think
that's the other thing too. When you think about it, that whole crew, the major players in Star Trek, out of all of them, not a single one of them said bad things about the other, with the exception of George Takei.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so
well,
it
that's
was
just
like,
a K.
and so it was like there was none of that sort of drama or backbiting in that whole series, especially with all the major players.
Yeah, because they understood. It was like, well, those three guys were the leads. The rest of us were just the players,
Yeah.
Oh,
We weren't the stars of the show.
And they
And that's
probably
how
all made
TV
lots of
worked
money
back
too.
then. It's not like now where like each character gets their own episode. It was like, no,
Yeah.
it's always about
exactly.
the lead.
Yeah, exactly. And this great sequence here when it pans
Yeah.
out from the Genesis planet.
If anyone gets a chance to see it on the big screen, do it, because this scene is
Yeah,
amazing.
I actually did see this when it first came out.
And that is
in theater.
deliberately 3D, isn't it? The way you can tell the way the camera's
Yeah.
angling around.
Oh yeah, this whole
Mm,
like peephole view is just like amazing on a big screen because it's like you're in space.
You know that last line, he's not really dead. He's really not dead as long as we remember him.
Pause.
Dr. McCoy says. It's
Yeah.
again, it was Maya's idea. He came across an article about a World War II diplomat, Raoul Wallenberg, who disappeared in 1945 mysteriously, and the article was a possibility that he was of him being alive and contained the phrase he's really not dead as long as we remember him. So it was about the mystery of maybe these people are still alive. And of course, as we know, the third movie he's resurrected, isn't he? Physically resurrected.
Oh, I forgot that. One of the ensigns is Nicholas Guest, who's the brother of Christopher Guest.
Oh wow!
You notice they look just alike.
So that flew past.
Excuse me, I need a tissue.
I mean, there's not many perfect movies. That's a perfect movie.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Perfect movie. Can't really fault it.
You can watch that once a year and not get bored of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we did mean to do this over and over again, didn't we? And we kept having to stall it. I mean, I mean, his 90th birthday, when he went up in space, sort of. And and then I had something last week where I couldn't do it on the spot for the USA anniversary. But
yeah,
I mean, we're halfway between the USA and the UK anniversary, so we're good enough.
I think this one worked out well.
But wasn't 1982 an amazing year for movies?
Yeah.
I mean, goodness me, there's no comparison between what we had then and.
Yeah, a friend of mine pointed out how like 82 is the movie that was the year that of the movies everyone remembers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Like when you look through all the movies, it's like, oh my gosh, it was all like sci-fi fantasy, and it's all the stuff that people like recognize as that. Even though most of them probably didn't make much of a profit back then.
But the most well-remembered foundational sci-fi movies that were probably the best sci-fi fantasy movies: Conan, Blade Runner, Wrath of Khan. These were like the cream of the. I mean, as far as sword and sorcery is concerned, Conan's the best. As far as sci-fi is concerned, Blade Runner is like 101 how to do a science fiction movie.
Yeah, and when you get to like fantasy, you have the Dark Crystal that year.
Yeah, we should do that as well later this year. We really should.
That came out in December. I looked that up too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no fan of Netflix.
June was like the busy month. June was like E.T., and a week later was this movie. The Thing came out like the same day as one of them. So it failed because it came out with E.T.
Yeah, the thing has to come up somewhere because that one.
The Thing and Blade Runner came out on the same day. They both came out.
Yeah,
on the 25th.
Goodness me, imagine that. What do I go to see?
And E.T. came out on the same day as Grease 2. I don't know how Grease 2 didn't outperform E.T. Go figure.
Yeah, that will always be one of life's little mysteries.
I think so, yeah.
So Gabrielle said, such a great movie, such a great film, absolutely.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
We said it is, and we've been very, very blessed tonight, gentlemen, that we've had the company of these two ladies in the chat. And earlier we also had Kevin in the chat as well. And yeah, I mean, you're right, absolutely. You could watch this movie over and over again, and the soundtrack's fantastic. Nothing to fault it with. Do you know what it is? It's so complete. It doesn't even need much explanation, really. It's so well done. You know, there's allusions to apparently not just Moby Dick, but also King Lear in there as well. There, like you were saying, Greek tragedy. There's a lot of Shakespearean sort of morals in there as well. Paradise Lost by Milton, The Inferno by Dante. So, I mean, how many people today even have read just even the quotes from those books and plays? I don't know.
Well, you know, that's the thing. That's the thing. You know, I'm surprised they didn't. I'm surprised they don't read Moby Dick because it isn't first person.
But yeah, that
was actually a joke, by the way.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how their portrayal of the future, they were keen to show that literature would not.
The big thud.
Yeah, they were sweeping it under the carpet now, Jeff.
All right, we'll just move along. It's all good.
The point that, you know, we live in an age which isn't really literary anymore, is it, Jeff?
No,
sadly.
In fact, that's I was on a live stream. Well, I was being interviewed yesterday with FlyFox Pro, and we got on that subject about, you know, because they really like the prose, and I'm getting a lot of comments on that they really like that prose and the sort of the flowery language, and you're not seeing that in books. And modern books are just stripping that out. And that's the one thing I have to do when I go to the editor is when she takes out stuff to consolidate it, I oftentimes have to look at it and sometimes put it all back in because I want that flowery sort of prose that somebody said was the elevated use of language. and it's just being stripped out. And it's kind of like everything else. They're trying to like consolidate, condense stuff for the lowest common
Well, people
denominator.
don't realize like those kind of prose are lyrical, and that actually makes books more accessible.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's
Because I can't read modern books because it's like trying to read an owner's manual to like a microwave or something. It's like
exactly, and then he mentioned that the minute you move it, he goes, there's a bunch of books that I like that have sort of that condensed, that have that sort of condensed language.
Yeah.
But when you listen to them in audiobook, they're unlistenable because it's just you've lost a bunch of stuff. So, and I think that's what's going on. Is there?
Well, it always worries me when an author never mentions reading any classics when they say their influences, and it's always like something from like 2 years ago. And,
and the classics are really. I love the classics. Yeah, that's the good stuff. I mean, the other stuff that's coming out, it's just politics and so.
Well, the stuff that comes out now is just like committee made, so it's sanitized. It's made for the masses. It's like, do you want to target millions of people or a niche group? It's like, I'm fine with a niche group if they want quality.
Yeah. It's a McDonald's burger, isn't it? Really.
Right.
It's not. Yeah, you want to, like, I used to work at a restaurant. It's like one of the biggest chains in DC, and I hated the food there because it is bland. It is beyond, but like everything looks pretty, but it's
bland.
There's literally no flavor. Yep. And I was talking to one of the chefs that I used to talk to every now and then because he was the only chef who wasn't on crack, which is a rarity. That's another story. But I was like, yeah, I really don't like the food. And he's like, why? Because it's bland? I'm like, that's exactly it. He's like, yeah, he's like, it's tough to be a chef here because you're forced to cook food to be bland because they don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah.
Because if we add any bit of flavor, we'll have complaints.
Jeez.
Because I'm like, oh, it's too salty or it's too peppery, it's too spicy. It needs more of this, less of this. And it's like, so they just purposely boil down the food to just blah. And then people don't complain.
Here's
uncoated Doritos.
Here's your plate of boiled chicken. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Oh, can you taste the water in the chicken? Tasty.
And oddly enough,
flavor.
That chain's most popular item, hamburgers, because you can't mess them up.
Oh, jeez.
That is pretty tough.
You can't cook the flavor out of those, so it's like it's their most popular item.
There is some similarities between this and Star Wars, actually. Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. There's a bit of an opening blurb at the start, which is similar to the opening blurb of Star Wars. Kirk and his former lover Carol are thrown back together because of the events of the film, which is similar to the way that the on-screen romance between Leia and Han happens in Empire Strikes Back. Both films feature a paternity revelation. Vader's found that he's Luke's father. Kirk finds out he's got a son. David finds out Kirk obviously his father. And obviously the loss of a beloved character. Han doesn't die. He's frozen, yes, as we said earlier, in carbs.
Frozen in chocolate.
But
the Han Solo Willy Wonka bar.
Not the worst way to go, kid.
I got a carbonite ticket. But yeah, there's some similarities there between.
And much like Carrie Fisher, George Takei made his way through the entire crew.
Really? Well, there you go.
Oh my.
Jeff says,
I'm just a serial dater.
Yeah, and so I mean, overall, I mean, there's too much trivia to go through there. There's far too much, and not all of it's that relevant, to be honest. I think a movie like this doesn't require being bolstered up by that much trivia.
But you know what? Being a movie from that time period, it is missing one thing. Cliff Clavin. John Ratzenberger. This is the only classic.
What happened there? What happened?
No.
I guess because it's the only one that wasn't filmed in London, right? Because I think that's where he was living at the time. So he's in every American movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no Cameron Mitchell. You said it was a lower budget one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cameron Mitchell's like, I can't have my wig on screen with Shatner's at the same time. Repair that thing.
But yeah, a couple of things quickly about James Doohan, who doesn't really feature that much in the movie, does he? Scotty. He's like
No.
not
He's missing
really
a
there. There's
finger.
a couple
Yeah.
of scenes with him, but he's like kept in the back. I don't know why. But anyway, he nominated Montalban for an Academy Award. He says his performance was so amazing,
Yeah,
but
deserved
he
it.
didn't get anything, and he was really peeved because nobody acknowledged Montalban's acting, and I think it was the politics even back then with the
It was
Academy
also
Award.
his cleavage. It distracted
Well,
Yes,
people.
the moves.
The moves. Well,
Uh,
you know, and sci-fi movies, you know, didn't get a
Yeah.
lot of respect by the
No,
academies.
none.
I mean,
It wasn't until what, 2005 when
That
Lord of
was
the
a lot
Rings
of-
won Oscars?
This is
And that's
it.
only because
Yeah.
it was 3 movies put together.
But this
Yeah.
is, I mean, the snobbishness of it all. You know, it doesn't really. I can't believe. I mean, it doesn't matter what genre you're dealing with.
Mhm.
It's about the story itself. But the other thing that James Doohan was responsible for was the playing of the bagpipes, Amazing Grace, right at the end. It was his idea.
Well,
So
good.
he suggested that.
And good choice, and something that we didn't really touch on when we were talking about the whole naval thing is the United States Navy is very steeped in tradition,
Mhm.
ceremony. You know, like for example, when Kirk first goes on the bridge, you have the whistle to wee. You know, where they get on.
Mhm.
You know that is done in the U.S. Navy today. The funeral, that was very fitting for that. And yeah, excellent choice by him. Great suggestion.
And as we mentioned earlier in the movie, and both these movies have this reference to Moby Dick, interestingly, and both movies are considered by most fans to be their favorite. So, first of all, Wrath of Khan is considered by those who prefer the original cast to be the best of the original cast movies. The people who appreciate the next generation cast, their most favorite film is First Contact, and in both instances, it deals with a character obsessed with revenge against a sworn enemy, causing them a great psychological, emotional harm. Obviously, with James T. Kirk was not responsible for what happened to Khan. The Borg were entirely at fault for what happened to Jean-Luc
But the
Picard.
big difference is the whole, like we're talking about the paying homage to the canon, right? Because
Exactly.
this acknowledges the past, whereas First Contact just completely has nothing to do with the TV show at all.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, all the characters are just like, we're action people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I think it was
between the two
Patrick
movies.
Stewart's midlife crisis moment where he's like, I want to do an action movie and shoot things.
Yeah, this is
I
it.
want
And
to swing from wires. You're like, all right.
You know, well, I tell you that one scene where he's talking about, you know, where he's not going to give up, and they started out with him basically insulting Worf, and then going in and trying to modulate some gun or something like that, and he keeps talking about, you know, how the Borg encroach, and every time that they fall back, and that's really an emotional. That's one of the few really good emotional scenes I've seen him do on that whole series, where he shows the frustration of what he's dealing with.
Yeah, exactly. It is a relentless enemy that they're battling against. But I mean,
Exactly.
so there's a difference between the two movies. But I think the strength in the common thread in both is that it has a reference in classical literature and
Moby Dick.
also.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly, and that is, honest to goodness, that is, speaking as an outsider, that is literally the Odyssey for America. If Homer's Odyssey was the first literary work, then the American version of the Odyssey, the canonical work of literature in America, really, I believe, was Moby Dick. It's like the soul of America, really, because at that time, a lot of America was still unknown at that stage, and America was a young country as well, and it really is the soul of America.
I object to that. I think it's 50 Shades of Grey.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, anyway, but yeah, like I say, the trivia, there's far too much to go through. I mean, there's some fascinating stuff about the actors and their own interpretation. There's a lot of information showing that the actors put a lot of time into what they were doing, and you can see that there's the depth there in the performances. It's not like it's Shakespeare, no, but it's bloody good acting. And to be honest, whether it's Shakespeare or not, the point is that it's as close as you can get to the stage, I would think, because the amount of references to literature and different works of different plays and different books, and like I say, as mentioned earlier, Greek tragedy and morality, and the amount of effort everybody put into their performances and into the writing, the direction. And it's just a perfect movie in that regard. There's nothing you can pull apart from it, and it's great that we have these movies because, unfortunately, today, there's not a lot of great movies. But this is why it's so good that we still have these movies now, because it shows what you can achieve, and it's great that we have these to watch. And like we said earlier, you can watch these over and over again, and it never gets old.
And you'd never have to see a second of Star Trek to get this movie. That's its
exactly.
too. It's like,
yeah,
that's another good point. Yeah,
you never had to see any of the movies. It's just a great standalone movie.
There's no info dumping.
That's it. There's no exposition at all, because it's just show not tell. You get bits of information, but what you see is enough to understand what's going on without having to have watched the TV series, which is the exact opposite to a lot of what goes on at the moment. By the way, there's a quick cameo by the composer James Horner. He's running down the corridor in the final battle. Just before the torpedoes launched in the launch bay. I don't know.
Is he one of the ones that got sucked out into space?
No.
Okay, James. We're gonna suck you right out into space.
I think he's the one carrying
what?
He's playing a Casio organ as he runs down.
And I was just going to bring up, coming back to what you were talking about you didn't have to see the TV show and they didn't explain it. This was also when movie creators they gave their audience credit. They realized that their audience is smart enough to figure it out. They don't have to have every little thing explained.
Yes. And it was about.
And you don't have to spend like 2 years watching every cartoon, movie, and reading every book in the past 20 years just to understand one episode of Obi-Wan or whatever it is.
Okay. All right. And we took my dad. My dad wanted to see Doctor Strange. He goes through Doctor Strange and he was asking questions. Why is this going on? Why is this happening? Why is Wanda doing?
Dad, you had to watch like 20 different TV shows,
and that was
3 after school specials, and 21 movies.
Yeah, exactly.
To understand
it's true, and it's all what they say, continuity. No, it's like we're going to force you to have to watch all these other movies to understand what the hell is going on. And the other thing that you brought up there, I'd like to say something on the back of that. Going back to the book of Blanchett, that was one of the things there is, hey, let's have an entire episode of how I get my spaceship back.
Yeah.
All right. Let's have an entire episode about how I make my pointy stick. For God's sakes, help me.
Yeah.
Well, that was kind of my issue with all of those shows, where it's like, oh yeah, that'd make a good movie, but not a good series. Like it only needs an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Star Trek unfortunately suffered from the same thing, and I think the new one they're doing now. What's the new series they're doing now about Captain Pike?
It's
Strange New Worlds.
But I've noticed, like, by the episode, Captain Pike is becoming more and more Johnny Bravo with his hair. His pompadour gets like a little bit taller in each episode. It's like, comes
out of the lift.
Mama, warp speed.
Oh, mama.
You're looking mighty fine in them jeans.
Hey there, old Hurl.
Is this the planet of beautiful women?
Talk about that. There is an Elvis movie out now, isn't there? With,
with the guy that looks like Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, looks nothing like Elvis. But yeah,
Elvis has left the house.
Yeah.
What's
Oh,
that all about?
welcome to Mississippi. It's crazy.
What's up with Las Vegas?
What's with segregation? I mean, come on. My buddy wants a hot dog. That's all.
Yeah.
He can't sit at the bar with me.
But you know what? I think they've realised with Star Trek, haven't they, how they got it wrong, and they're trying to put it right. Because the whole idea of the show was it's got to be entertaining, and it's got to say something which is relatable, and
Well, and the whole overall Star Trek is optimistic. You know,
yeah, and the reason Discovery fell flat in its arse was it was so bloody miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
and Star Trek is like, other than Deep Space Nine, which never really committed.
Yeah,
Star Trek is never an ongoing story.
No.
Deep Space Nine had story threads, but it never committed to like, this is one big narrative. It was still episodic.
Yep. And
Star Trek is a very episodic kind of thing.
Yeah, the Critical Drinker, he did an episode on what's wrong with movies today, and he references Star Trek 2 comparison to like the other Star Treks that have come out, and it shows the glaring difference where, you know, in Star Trek 2, you know, it shows these people acting like they should act in basically a military ship. Whereas the other, you know, the newer episodes that are coming out, everybody's crying and yelling and insubordinate. And he goes, it's just, you know, and men act like men.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that. It's very telling, and it's actually, when you see it, it's rather striking. And it's interesting. He brings this one up because it's such a classic example.
Well, this is a gold standard. This movie's the gold standard to measure everything else by, because this movie is definitely this is about the military side of the ship and how everybody's functioning. It really literally is that all the way through. I mean, the other movies, you've got scenes where they're battling enemies, etc., but there's philosophical, there's religious, there's spiritual things going on. This movie is just, we've got to kick this guy's ass, you know.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do it by, you know, military
it's still very philosophical, because that's the whole, crux of the movie.
Isn't that the irony? It achieves that without being ostentatious at all.
Exactly. You have an action focused movie that is still character driven. So, you know,
I don't know how the hell you would get that in today's world.
Because it has nothing to do. Action is just the vehicle to deliver the message about like Kirk's journey and life.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely. Well, this is it. It's a phenomenal work because of that, and that goes down to the direction, it goes down to the writing, it goes down to the acting, it goes down to the production, and even for its day, the special effects were really, really, really good, and the craftsmanship, the model making. And it's again another example of where everything just fitted into place perfectly. Everybody did their job, worked together, apart from Takei.
Yeah.
And, you know,
he did a great job though. He does great in it with his little expression.
Yeah, he still did his part. But yeah.
And just a quick reference that Flash mentioned, the Hornblower references. There's a reference to those in the subtle ways, like the furniture. There's like nautical furniture, like Admiral Kirk's cabin has the circular design and stuff, because it fits in with the shape of the ship. And his bed is like a settee couch that doubles as a bed.
Well, even the uniforms are very like Napoleonic uniforms too.
Yep. Yeah, so exactly that. So they're just squeezing every last little drop of memory, racial memory, like our historical memory of all of this is, and that's why it seeps with and that's why it's so relatable. Because they knew exactly what they were doing, and they knew exactly what they were drawing on, and that's what storytelling's about. You're drawing on everybody's shared knowledge and memories of the past, and perfect film, and just so relatable. And not only that, but at the time, like we've said, the audiences who saw this movie would have probably read Tale of Two Cities, maybe have read Moby Dick, and they would get those references.
Yes.
So what can we say? I mean, it's it's one of those movies that seems like, it's an easy to watch movie. There's not much when you watch it the first time that you think it's just been so easy to make. Well, that's because movies that have that depth and all that amount of work
it's also
are
like,
easy to watch. You
it's
don't
like
have to
a
work
drawing
hard.
room movie too,
Yeah,
because it all takes place like on one set, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and
It's like a
plus,
play.
yeah, and plus, looking at this when I was a kid, it was a good action movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then, now as we analyze it, there's more depth, more nuance, more story behind it, more references. You just peel back those layers.
Well, nuance is illegal now, so you can't have that anymore.
Right? Yeah. Exactly.
It's against the law. If you've ever looked at Twitter, nuance is illegal.
Tell, don't show.
There is only complete joy or complete outrage. There is no in between.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, it's us and them and nothing in between.
Mm-hmm.
And so overall, an incredible movie with far too much to talk about, really, and in a good way. The gold standard of Star Trek movies, and really, one of the best, not just Star Trek movies, but one of the best science fiction movies ever made, and really just one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Without a doubt, and it's already 40 years old. It'll last for a long, long time. And it's interesting that there's the amount of literary references in it, because it's the movie itself has become a classic of cinema, which itself will now endure. So that's an interesting point as well. Sorry, go ahead, Ralph.
I was gonna say, I think Gabriella's next to last comment sums things up very well.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Gabrielle's comment here, which was Disney Marvel encourages their audience to watch all the things for the sake of continuity. Exactly. Just to break their own continuity, they break my... Exactly. And it's to force you to have to watch everything there. And of course, our very own Ralph agreed.
Well, there is a lot of too. There's a lot of pride in it, where it's like, I'm going to make it my thing. Like, I'm the creator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a lot of that now and stuff, I think.
Yeah. And there's no consideration for the audience, is there? Why build a story or select it in the first place if you're going to do it to be divisive? Exactly. So then Gabriel says, movies like this one, it's like fresh air, isn't it? And you can see
that's it. That's the chef's kiss for how to end this in this episode.
Absolutely. And when it's done well, it is a breath of fresh air, and it's not a labor at all. And on that note, thank you everybody for joining in tonight. Everybody's joined us in the chat, and obviously everybody who'll watch this recorded later. And obviously, thank you very much to my co-hosts tonight, Jeff Potts, and also Ralph, or the Ralph of Khan, and of course Flash. And of course Flash, and also Cosmetti and Gabrielle, and also Kevin, who joined us in the chat as well. And once again, thank you to everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure to get back. It's been too long, really, since the last time we did this. And what a great movie to watch together. What a treat. And with that, we thank everybody and wish everybody a very good night. Good night, everybody.
Thank you all. Good night.